Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Cumcast. On today's episode we have the amazing stand-up comedian Jake Ruble back on the episode. This is just a after recorded intro. We completely forgot to do the beer of the week. He kind of showed up and we just got right into it. So thanks everybody for your support, all the downloads, everything like that. No beer of the week this week. Next week, and I believe Cody still has to do a book of the month. I can't believe I'm saying that because it's just a waste of time, honestly. Come on. So thanks everybody. I hope you enjoy the episode. We had an absolute fucking blast. We love having Jake on, and hopefully we can get him on in the future. So appreciate you. Love you guys so much, and enjoy this episode. Let's get into it.
The funny thing about that video is that I didn't know she was recording me.
Right.
So if you watch it, you can see at the very end, I look over and see her, and then I laugh, and I'm like, what? Because she legit, I've been with her 16 years, and I've eaten many soft tacos.
Yeah.
And that's just how I roll them. I learned to roll from rolling joints because that's what my dad taught me at a very young age. So it's just it's the tightest burrito you could ever want. You know, my foot's not falling out.
Jesus.
So I was just rolling them up, and she thought it was funny, so she started filming. And I don't do a lot on TikTok, but I do enough to just try to at least have a little bit.
A little content.
A little social. Yeah, I try to do as much social media as possible except for Twitter. Twitter just scares the crap out of me.
I don't even know how to use Twitter.
Yeah, so I just don't do Twitter at all.
It's 150 characters? Nah,
yeah.
I don't like limitations.
It's Facebook, but in short bursts. So it's
I did it before and then just deleted all of it because I don't think I ever posted anything that was probably offensive or inappropriate or anything because I just don't do that kind of stuff. But I'm I don't want to see stuff from 5 years ago, Jake. Yeah. I don't want to.
Right.
So I just deleted that whole thing and started fresh with social media. But yeah, that video I posted on TikTok. It's got the most views.
Right.
I think it's got I don't know, 600,000 views or something like that, or 400,000 views. And I'm that's not even anything. That's literally just a moment in my life. Maybe watch my stand-up comedy and give those a couple likes.
Yeah, 400,000 views on my 15-minute set.
Yeah, it's that would be cool. But
that's one thing, because I have TikTok and I posted a few things here and there, and it's that you hear people talk about it, it's oh, this is how you, TikTok's broken in this way because you post a video with, a song and no hashtags or anything like that, and you're thousands and thousands of views. Yeah. Completely viral. And then, mine, the most I have on one of mine is these guys walking into a house, and it's what would you do if we broke into your house? And they're wearing overall shorts, and it's two giant black dudes walking in this house. What would we do if we broke into your house? And they're wearing overall shorts. And I grab Cheyenne's overall shorts that are way too small, and I grab her gardening hat, and I walk through my own door, and I just walk up to the guy and go, "What's up?" Yeah. it's got the most views out of any one of my videos, and it's just being goofy.
Yeah, well, that's I see guys the only reason I started doing it is because Dusty Slay told me that to do it. He's it's great for me. I get tons of people. And then even then, I was still I don't know, dude.
Right.
But then I did some shows with him after the show, and there's a lot of people, after the show, they're coming up and buying shirts, and then they're yeah, we seen this on we seen that you're going to be here on TikTok. And I was what?
Huh.
And then we went to the bar that night. We're both sober. We just went because it's the only place open. Just a heads up, we weren't drinking.
Right.
It was just... the only thing that was open to grab a bite to eat. And we walk in, and they had a patio out back. And we were well, we're more comfortable on the patio.
Right.
We don't want to sit at the bar, which we will if we have to. But so we went through the bar, went out on the patio. There's one dude out there looking at his phone whenever we walk out. And he kind of looked up at us and he's like, hey, and then he looked back at his phone, then looked back up at us, turned his phone around, he's watching Dusty on TikTok.
That's crazy.
And he was just like, dude! And Dusty's like, alright! So it was like, once I seen that, that's whenever I was like, maybe I should look into it.
Right.
So I do, and I have had some people like comment on it and stuff, but it's still not like...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. But who knows what... It's the bits that you never think anyone's going to like that work the best.
Right, exactly.
So I'm just trying to throw little bits. Most of what I just do on it is I just tell, like, quick stories.
Yeah.
Like, I just walk around my garden or something with my phone out, and I'll just tell, like, a really quick story about, like, growing up with a drug addict dad.
Yeah.
He wasn't really a drug addict, but let's be honest. You know?
Well, that's like Cody's been doing like short snippets of our episodes on TikTok.
Yeah.
And we've been getting
like
little
bursts of episode downloads, but other than that, it hasn't been like anything drastic. Like it hasn't really caught on yet. But other than that, it's like the videos you see of like that one kid who he does, like, it's almost like whatever we think. Like when you're like, you see something and somebody's doing something, making it super complicated, like they're making a sandwich with like, I don't know, a hammer and a screwdriver, and you're like, just bread, peanut butter jelly, you know. And that kid has like hundreds of millions of subscribers.
I don't get it. I watch some of the stuff sometimes, but that's another thing too, is that the majority of people on TikTok have different brains than we do. Like they're of a different generation. They are raised different than we are, which I'm not being an old guy and being like they're different.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, in all reality, they are. Like
true.
You know, like for them, like for us, you know, we look at like LimeWire. You know what I mean? Like back in the day,
FrostWire, and then after that, FrostWire.
So it's for them though. It's Vine.
Yeah.
So you look at like LimeWire, it would take us forever to download a video.
Mm-hmm.
For them, they grew up on Vines, which are like 7-second videos. So they're used to this style, this format, and everything. To where guys like us, I'm like, how am I going to make something funny in 14 seconds?
Right, exactly.
And so, I mean, that's the thing, is like they're built for it, where they know. So where I'll watch something, but here's the thing, I'll watch that kid making a sandwich with a hammer and nails, and I'll watch the whole video.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just a different thing than what we would normally do. But it's working for him, so keep doing it, bud.
Yeah.
It's also just technology based. I mean, they grew up with technology and posting everything that they did.
Like we remember getting our first flip phone.
Yeah.
And like
you got an iPhone,
and then your parents were super scared to give it to you.
Yeah.
And they're like, you only got 2 numbers, me and your dad, and maybe your grandma.
Dude, I'm doing my kids like that. So my daughter's 12. I got her a cell phone, I think when she was 10 or 11, and I specifically got her a flip phone.
Yeah.
Like I made sure it was a flip phone, because they still make those.
Right.
And I told her I'll program the numbers. And now she's 12. There's more numbers in there. She'll be like, can I put my friend's number in here and stuff? And I'll probably get her an iPhone next year.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, I told her, I was like, look, I'm not going to be like a jerk, but you're going to grow up the way I did, at least a certain extent. Like, I'm not going to get drunk and beat her, so it's not going to be it's not going to be the exact same way. You know, there's going to be some.
We're not going to fucking torture you.
It's like there's a line.
You will have
and
technology.
It's not white.
I'm not going to make you take this strange baggie or over there around the dumpster so Jerry down the road can pick it up.
Yeah, so his name was Gary.
Gary.
But no, but like to a certain extent, kind of like whenever they started getting into, like she wants to start watching scary movies.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, well, you're old enough now. Like if you want to watch a horror movie, that's fine. I was like, but I have to approve them, because some of them too much for dad, probably too much for you.
Right.
So I was like, but I'll be straight up with you. Like I'll tell you why. And I said, but I get to show you your first few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well, that's fine. I was like, well, what are you into? And she's like, I like zombies. And I was like, got you. Night of the Living Dead is going to be your first horror movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
10 minutes in the movie, she's asleep. And I was like, I hate my life. Like, are you kidding me? She's like, this isn't even scary. Dude, we did a show in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I guess the guy who books the shows hadn't heard me do my Donnie impression yet. So we're doing a mic test, and it's in this really cool, probably haunted movie theater. It was like the weirdest theater ever, but so rad.
Right.
Like the dude who bought it loves movies. Like the whole he's redoing it all himself. It's so rad. Like it's probably one of my favorite places I've been just to see.
Right.
I don't think it's perfect for comedy because like a movie theater isn't great for comedy because I think people get used to like sitting comfortably and being quiet.
Right, exactly.
So it's like your big laughs aren't huge laughs.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird. But we were doing a mic check and people are like there to come into the show, but they're not allowed in the room yet and stuff. And we're setting it all up, and he's like, go up there and do a mic check real quick. And I was like, all right. So he's messing with the controls, and I got up there and I said, "Hey man, it's me, Donnie Baker." And I was like, I swear to God. All of a sudden you start seeing people like looking in and stuff, and they're like, "Is he here?" And I hadn't even went and picked him up yet. Like he wasn't. He's not even in the building.
Oh, I did an open mic in Edinburgh, like the town of Edinburgh, not the outlet mall. And it was at this theater called the Pixie Theater.
I got a show there in like 2 weeks.
Right. It's like one of the oldest theaters in Indiana. And
oh, rad. I didn't know that. I've never been there.
There's stories about it. Like the owner was like setting up the show and he was there to like watch the open mic and stuff like that. And he said about how haunted it is. And it's one of the oldest in there. And you could tell, I mean, it's basically, they had newer seats in there, but before that, they had like older seats they were like 20-something-year-old seats in there, but they just got new ones. It's actually a really cool theater. It's all made out of I think it's all made out of limestone on the outside.
Oh, cool.
It's actually pretty cool, and it's really not as big as you think it is.
I know nothing about it other than the fact so they do like a clean comedy competition thing there.
Right.
And I don't like competitions.
Yeah.
I really don't. It's just there's a weird atmosphere about it because it's like you're in there and you're like, I hope I win. So I try not to do very many of them, but at the same time you got to do some.
Yeah.
You know, it's just part of it. So I'd messaged him and I was straight up with him. I was like, hey, I don't really care too much about the competitive side of things, but I hear good things about the theater and I hear you guys put on a really good show. I would like to come do it just strictly based off that. I'm not worried about winning or anything like that.
Right.
If I do, cool. If not, whatever. And they were like, oh, no, that's great. You know, we'd love to have you. So I know nothing about it.
Right.
I've never been there. I've heard that it's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. And I think that was one of the shows I rode there with Sam Bob Patrick. Mm-hmm. And Sam Bob got thrown out because he cussed.
Oh, yeah.
It's a clean show,
yeah.
And he cussed. And then he cussed because he cussed. So he had to get
true Sam Bob fashion.
I remember this story.
Yeah, that has happened so many times to Sam Bob. That's happened so many times. Numerous times from what I've seen. He'll say a cuss word, and that's like your warning. You can get by with it. But then if you're like, he's immediately after he says it, he cusses again because he cussed the first time.
I've seen people do that, like, because I work at Gutty's in Greenwood a lot.
Yeah.
I guess it's technically my home club. It's where I work the most.
Right.
And I've been there before on open mics, and, like, what'll happen is if you cuss, they'll buzz you. So they'll hit a button that's just like, bah, bah, bah. And I've seen people before that'll say it, and then they hit it, and then they say it again because they're just like, you know,
right.
And then it's just like, all right, you're done now. You said it too many times, like you got to get off the stage. But also like Crackers doesn't like you to say the F word,
right? And
I've seen guys go up there and do the open mic that will say the F word or start to and just be like, no, I didn't say it. You know, like
I didn't say it.
Yeah, which I'm sure the audience has no idea, so they're just probably like, say what?
Right. Right, well, that's probably at Gutty's. The people that go to Gutty's, they know what that buzzer means.
Yeah.
They're
for
like,
the open mic, because
like,
most of the open mic, actually, now that they've moved, the open mics have been pretty cool. I've only been to a couple of them, but used to be it would just, like most open mics, it's just comedians that are there.
Right.
I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. It's hard to get an audience.
Yeah.
But now that they're in the Greenwood Mall, they have foot traffic.
Right.
So, like, there's been times, the last time I went up there, I think there was probably like 10 or 15 people in the audience that was just there.
Really?
And it was weird because I got like new bits I want to work out, and then I look out there and see like an actual audience, and I'm like,
right.
well, do I want to do something new or do I want to do something that works? Like,
Yeah,
what do I want to
exactly.
do? So I did a variation.
Are they in that old cocktail bar?
No,
lounge?
they're in. I can't remember what it was. They're like right next to Carhartt.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
they're
literally
kinda
the
in
building
middle,
that's right next to Carhartt.
Right, okay,
So,
okay.
so it's outside.
Right.
It's dope, dude. I love it. It's super cool. And then they just opened a new location in Minnesota.
Really?
So yeah, it's their first franchise. The new location in Minnesota is owned by Kyle Yamada. Not owned, but he's running it. So
Right.
like these guys, I don't know the business side of it. I'm assuming they still own it, and then
Yeah.
he's running it. But it's in a mall too.
Huh.
Right
And
on.
I've seen pictures. I've not been there yet because their opening night is September 10th. I think 10th and the 11th or 11th. It's that Friday and Saturday. Bonehampton is headlining. Jake Ruble is featuring. So that's the
Jake
opening
Ruble,
night.
never heard of him.
Yeah, you probably won't. But it looks really cool. Like the building. Or the inside of it, I've seen some pictures where they're painting it and they're getting it all set up. It looks
Right.
great. And Steve, who's the guy who actually owns Gutty's, is also a comedian himself.
Right.
Very funny comedian. I love that guy. Like, he's just such a good dude. He's always been super cool with me. I know for a fact there's no way I would be able to be full-time in comedy this early on if it wasn't for him putting me on his stage.
Right.
Him and Dennis, which is the guy who helps him run stuff, and
Mhm.
Dennis is the booker. They put me up very early and took a chance on me, and I mean, they put me up in front of cool headliners that like me and take me on the road. So it's
Heck
like,
yeah, man.
I know that I owe them a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
But when you hit the
I'm not
big-
paying them.
Yeah. When you I'm not paying.
I owe them a lot. I'll just never.
High five and a handshake.
I owe them so much that they'll never get back.
That sounds like our mom, and she has a surgery. They're like, "Hey, you got a bill? Oh, how much is it? It's like $10,000." She's like, "They'll never see it."
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, but I'm never.
Thanks
paying
for
you
saving
back.
my life, but you're never going to get that money.
You're never getting any money.
I just had my kitchen remodeled because I'm a baller. And I paid for none of it. By baller, I mean my wife is very sweet. And
Kitchens by Chia.
Yeah. And the guy that's remodeling it said that he just did another job for this lady who fell through her her bathroom floor.
Wow.
Right? So she's like,
With her in it?
I think so. And she's like
man.
65,
It's like Gilbert Grape's
65,
mom.
70.
You know how scary that would be.
Yeah, it's like a great fear of mine. That's why I don't take baths or shower.
I wish I had a bathtub. Or shower.
But he said that he did this work for her, and it was like $8,000. He had to put in a brand new floor.
Right.
The joists. He remodeled the whole bathroom
Right.
because it's already in there. So it's like $8,000. I think she gave him $3,000, and then he came back and was just like, "Hey, I just want to check in on you. There's still a balance here." And she goes, "Oh, I'm not gonna pay you." Just like so nonchalant.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And he was like, "Excuse me?" And she goes, "Yeah, I don't have it." And he's like, "Well, we could maybe work something out." She goes, "Nah." And he's like, "Well, he's like, I already did the work." He's like, I hate to do it, but I'm going to have to take you to court, if you don't pay
Yeah,
me.
right.
And she's just like, "Yeah, I know." Like, she's just like, so like,
She doesn't give a shit.
I was like,
Not
that
care.
lady probably is like, I probably have maybe 20 years left in
Right.
life. I'm going to do whatever
So
I
you can
want.
take me to court, but I probably won't show up.
Yeah, yeah, fine. Okay. It was just, yeah.
Fine with me?
But see,
I'm not paying you.
that reminds me of Cheyenne's grandma.
Yeah, Cheyenne's grandma.
Is the lady. Tell her to pay
It
you.
probably
It
is.
probably is. But according to her and her whole family, we just found this out a couple weeks ago. Apparently, she's been waiting to die for 20 years. Every day, she'll just, like, when they would go to visit her, she'd go, "I've been saying my prayers, and I haven't been taking my pills, and I just know he's going to take me today." She said she's been saying it for 20 years.
I love talking to old,
Right.
just diehard, devout religious people because they're so sure, and they're to a point in their life where they're just like, I'm sure you guys have heard, if you're around anyone that's religious,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, come quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's literally just being like, suicide?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't have the guts to kill myself.
Right.
But Lord, if you want to just kill me real quick, I'm cool with that. Because they know they're making it to heaven.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're
Jesus, take the wheel type of thing.
Yeah. Turns out that song is about suicide. That song is about a lady just driving down the road, sick of life, and just lets go of the wheel.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I wish that I still had that kind of faith, because at this point I'm like, yo, God, if you're gonna come today, could you send me a text?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I need to get some stuff taken care of real quick before you get here. I gotta clean under my bed. Like, I got some skeletons in that closet. I don't want you to find there, JC. Let's talk.
No, it's one of those things you get to a certain age and you're just super diehard religious, and like you said, like it's like her grandma. It's just she's at Golden Corral. She's like, it's a good day. I know he's going to take me today because I've got Golden Corral and all this.
It's like just when you're happy, it's like Jesus can take me today.
Jesus can take me today.
I love that there's two flips of the suicide coin.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's the ones that are super old that are just like, I want to die. And then there's the other ones that are just very sad and want to die.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just like, this is getting weird, isn't it? Is it getting weird?
I mean...
Maybe stop saying suicide. I think you're only allowed to say it so many times on a podcast before it...
Right.
Well, it's
like Beetlejuice.
Well, you can say it.
Got 2 more times.
Yeah, you can say it, but you can just be like, we don't condone suicide. It's, if go get help. Let me look up the number real quick.
Yeah, maybe we should have said trigger warning before, because that is a hard word. Maybe I should stop.
But everything would be forgiven if we were doing this podcast in a
As much stuff as we said on this podcast, I'm surprised we haven't gotten in trouble.
I'm just throwing it out there.
We're not that bad.
It's
we used to be pretty bad.
Yeah,
Excuse me. I used to be pretty bad.
Our podcast isn't I'm not giving them like a plug or anything, but the podcast when we were starting this one, because it's the Cumcast, and when I came up with the name, Ryan was like, I don't know about that. I was like, it's our last name. It's our last name. Like, yes, you can get it twisted just by hearing the name straight up, but I was like, it's not like that one it's called Cumtown. Like, it's Cumtown, and none of them have the last name Cummings or anything related to that. I was like, so
and
we're not...
Their logo is just like white.
Right.
Yeah,
so we're not doing it on purpose. It's just like... This is not a sex podcast. We had a whole episode about it. Go back in the archives of this podcast. It's called Not a Sex Podcast. It's actually a pretty good episode.
I actually never plug this podcast when I'm on it. I'm like, I'm not telling anyone I was on that show.
That's fine.
I don't blame you.
No. But if we should, just to circle back, I won't say suicide anymore.
Okay. You kind of just did, though.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say it anymore. But for me, I think it's okay if I say it, because I'm someone who has struggled with it my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm okay. I'll say it.
Yeah, it's kind of like being black and saying the N-word. It's kind of the same thing, right?
I don't think so. I'm not going to put myself in that at all. I think you're wrong for saying that. As a matter of fact, I don't condone this podcast anymore. I never did. And now I'm doubling down on saying that I don't.
Well, thanks a lot, Ryan.
Yeah.
Well,
what?
Nice.
It's in the same ballpark, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's
Maybe
not.
we'll see you again. See you again.
I think there's a difference between the difference. The main difference there is you wouldn't even say your word, and I said mine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the same word.
Oh God. So,
you guys like taffy?
I watched a 3-minute TikTok last night with the guy making taffy.
I know. I was watching you watch it.
Joke's on you. I ain't got no window.
Yeah. Joke's on you. I was in the bed with you. I'm like a ninja.
I thought I felt something scratching my foot.
You sleep yet, big guy? I gotta sneak back home to my own family.
So, what kind of shows you got coming up, man? I know you've been all over the good U.S. of A. lately. You've been to Oklahoma, Nashville. Cheyenne and I were listening to the podcast when you were in Nashville, and you were staying at your buddy's house. I can't remember his name though.
Evan Burke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you were talking about like the neighborhood that he lived in. I'm pretty sure we went to that same neighborhood. It was like 12 South or something like that around there.
Oh, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but yeah, it's
super nice neighborhood. But we went there when we went to Nashville, and it made us think of when we went. There's this bakery there called Three Daughters Bakery, and they have like a 100 layer donut, but it's really like I was like, so it's really 100 layers when we went there, and she goes, well, actually it's 152. But she's like, 100 just sounds better. But they're literally like 4 inches tall, and we each ate 3 of them in like 2 days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's actually a really cool neighborhood.
Yeah, Nashville's got some great food, man. Yeah, I went down there the first time, and I did Dusty Slay's show at Zany's, and it was a blast. Like, I had a ton of fun. The people in Nashville, the comedians that are there, are great. They're super fun. They're very nice. I met some great people. Stayed with Evan Burke, who is a hilarious comedian, a good friend of mine. Stayed at his house, and then that was cool because he could just show me around town.
Right.
You know, like, and he had just recently moved there not too long ago, so he was new enough. Like, he's been there enough to where now he knows his way around, but new enough to where he knows what's exciting for a new guy.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. And then I did that show at Zany's, and then I did a couple open mics, and then I had another show that Evan actually runs at a hotel that was kind of neat. It's like a patio show that he does. Yeah, it was fun. And then I did the comedy bar before coming back home. And the comedy bar is great, too. The guy who was running the mic that night's Matt Taylor. Very funny comedian. Really like him. He's a solid dude. And then I just went back recently, I guess 2 weeks ago, I went back and did a show at Third Coast Comedy Club with John Hickok. Which, I don't know. So this is crazy to me. John Hickok, do you know who that is?
No.
Do you guys ever watch any gun stuff on YouTube?
Oh, shit. Yeah, Hickok 45.
So it's his son.
So, really?
So I think they're both named John.
Didn't his son videotape me?
You used to watch him like every day.
I used to watch him all the time.
Yeah. So John, the guy I know, the son, I think he like produces it. Like he films it and stuff. He does it all with him, and he also shoots a lot too. So he's in a lot of the videos shooting as well.
Right.
Well, he's a comedian.
Okay, cool.
So he, it was just cool to hang out with him, and I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, we're gonna go shoot guns.
Right.
He's like, well, man, I'm kind of busy, and I'm like, no, we're gonna shoot some guns.
Right.
And he's always like, very politely, like, no, we're not. Like, he's just like,
bring your dad.
Yeah, he's like, I'm pretty busy, because I mean, I think that's all he does. I think it's a full-time job for him. That show.
Well, I mean, I'd say that guy's his dad's been doing it for hell, I don't even know how long. But
I think they got in YouTube like the right time.
Right, they did.
They have millions of followers
and supporters and backers, and like, I mean, they do like one a day or multiple a day or whatever.
Before I buy a gun, I go to their page and search the gun. Like,
that's what I did.
I'll type in the gun and then Hickok 45.
That's what I did.
If they've, and most of the time, they reviewed it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, when I was, I went gun crazy for a little bit, but
I think we both did. When we lived together in the same house, the only investments we made were like in some kind of firearm.
Yeah, but not so much anymore. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would just get on YouTube, and he always did one. Didn't matter if it was like early on or
And it's the thing is I like it because it's so good. Mm-hmm. The way that he does it is perfect. It's,
right.
It's great. So any of your listeners who likes guns, definitely check out Hickok 45. Not that they need a plug for me, because they're doing all right.
They're doing way better than any of us.
But also look up John Hickok, the son, who does comedy, because he's a really cool guy. So we went there, and then I stayed with another guy then. So the first time I went and stayed with Evan, there was an open micer there named Nick Weir. And wouldn't it be funny if that's not his name? If I was just like a huge jerk and I was just like, yeah, Nick Weir. That is his name though, because I'm not that big of a jerk. So so we stayed at his house, and this time, because I met him last time we were there, and I was coming through. And I was like, well, I guess I could get a hotel, because Evan was out of town. Dusty was out of town because he had to film his Netflix special.
No big deal.
I was like, maybe just be a better friend and cancel that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in town. Like, so So I couldn't stay with either one of them. Plus, Dusty has a baby, so it's like I'm not going to ask to crash on his couch.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess I'll get a hotel. But then I thought of this dude because he sent me a couple messages after I went down there. And I was like, hey, dude, weird question. I'm coming back through in a couple weeks. Can I just crash on your couch? I'm only there for a night. And he was super cool about it. He's like, yes, definitely. And actually that weekend my roommates are out of town, so you can have a bed.
Huh.
So you don't have to have a couch. So Chia went with me this time. And, yeah, we had a good time. Just like, you always feel like Nashville's further away.
Right.
It's a 4-hour drive.
I know, yeah.
Like, we drove down there, hung out at his house for a little bit, went and did the show, went and got something to eat, went back to his house. I slaughtered him at Mario Kart. It was sad. It was sad how much better I was than him and Chia at Mario Kart. And then went to bed, woke up the next day, drove back home. You know? So it's like, that's life.
Right.
And the whole time my Jeep was messing up.
It's like we went to Illinois just on a whim, just to drive last weekend, just to
no one
get away.
No one ends up in Illinois on purpose.
No, we didn't go. We didn't go there on purpose. I showed Cheyenne my tattoo of my compass, and I was like, pick a direction.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so she picked west.
And she picked west, and Cody was heading east.
Yeah, I was for a little bit.
Good thing you got that compass tattoo.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Show me the way.
It's always right. You know what I mean?
maybe don't do a handstand next time you're looking at it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
I don't know what you're into.
Yeah. Wall twerking. Stuff.
I feel like I tried to make a joke and then it got weird in here for a second. Like,
it did.
Like I just uncovered a secret thing that you.
I was just trying to picture Cody doing a handstand. And
I was trying to think I've done 2 kickstands in my life and none of them were over my head.
You just got like real quiet. I'm like, does he do a lot of handstands? So it's like a problem. Like. People are like, dude, enough of the handstand. Like, we're done with it.
Figure it out.
We get it. You can do it. Real cool.
There's new talent, and he's going up and down the stairs.
So we were heading to Terre Haute, and I was like, well, I don't know what's past Terre Haute besides Illinois, but I guess we're going.
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. Actually, we stopped in a little town to go to the bathroom called Dana, Indiana, right before we got to Illinois, and it's where Ernie Pyle is from. And I guess he's a big deal. He was like a wartime writer and author, and they made a couple G.I. Joe movies about him, which was kind of cool. But then we get to Illinois, and I was like, well, where are we going? She's like, we're going west. I was like, all right, well, there's corn here and corn here, so I guess we're going west.
That's what I don't understand. People, like, Indiana gets such a bad rap of being like, there ain't nothing there but corn. And it's like, no, there's quite a bit here. But if you go to Illinois, I'm like, I think people will think we're Illinois.
Probably.
No, honestly, it was the most boring state to drive through. Like, Chicago doesn't even put a dent on the state at all. It was every about half an hour to an hour we drive through a town. And then you'd leave the town and nothing but flat corn, soybean, whatever fields. And then I was like, so where are we going? She's like, well, how far do you want to go? Because you're driving. I was like, well, Springfield's up here. So we stopped in Springfield, Illinois for an afternoon and went and hung out at like Abraham Lincoln's house and walked around town and stuff like that. But it was, that's pretty much my travels, basically. And then we had to drive all the way back home right after that. So I don't know how, I'm not a big fan of driving for longer than like 4 or 5 hours at one time. Like, so I don't know how you do it as much.
I mean, it's just, I actually dig it. Like, they were going to fly me out to Oklahoma.
Really?
And I requested, I basically was just like, if I drive, will you just pay me more money? And they were like, yeah, we'll make that work. And I was like, all right, cool.
Cool.
So I think it was.
Have you ever been on a plane?
Yeah, I don't like it. I've flown 4 times.
Right.
So I went to Connecticut once, and it was like we flew from Indianapolis to Pittsburgh, and then whenever we got to Pittsburgh, we got off the jet and got onto a propeller plane.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And then flew that to a tiny little place in Connecticut. And once I got off that plane, I was like, all right, I'll fly again. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, to go back home, and then I'm never doing this again. I was like, I hate it. I don't like it. I know a lot of people are like, you get used to it. And I'm like, I don't want to. So
Right,
like I will get on a plane if I have to. Like
Right.
if I have a show that it's like there's no way I can like drive to that and then drive to the next show or whatever, I'll fly. It's fine.
Right.
But in my car, even if it is like a 13-hour drive, it's like I'm in my car.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable. No one else is with me. I'm listening to my audiobooks. Like it's
Right.
fine. It's not a big deal. So I just like driving. I mean, and I always have. To me, I would rather drive across the country than fly.
Right.
You see more. It's funner. Like I don't know. I'm just more comfortable doing it. And I know that it would have only been. I would have been there in like a couple of hours if I would have flown.
Right.
But how comfortable am I going to be?
Right. It's more of an experience that way too.
I think your first time though, you went from big plane to like tiny plane, and you hear about tiny planes going down more than big planes.
Yeah, it was a small prop plane, and
yeah.
and on the way there, when we first got in, we sat in the very front, so we were sitting like right by the door, and the stewardess, it's such a small plane that their chair was directly in front of me, and it was a flip down chair right in front of me. So, like, she sits down, like, straps in, and I'm, like, strapping in.
Right.
And then she was just basically like, hey, in case of emergency, since you're sitting here, are you comfortable helping people get off the plane? I was like, in case of emergency, I'm already dead. Like, I was like, I don't think you get who you're talking to. I was like, no, I'm not helping you.
That's the thing.
And then she was like, she laughed for a second. She was like, oh, that's funny. I was like, no, I'm not going to be of any assistance. I was like, we can break this down if you want. And she was just like, what do you mean? I was just like, not my job. I was like, look at this. I paid for this plane ticket, so now I'm paying you so that way I can do a job I don't want to do.
Right.
Like, also, do I look like a hero? Like, no, obviously I don't. I was like, and another thing is, first time flying, am I the guy that you want helping? Like, what? And also, what does that even mean? Help people? Like, am I the guy putting the parachutes on them then? Because that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know what one looks like.
The thing is, like, they're not going to need your help in the air. It's when you're already, like, in water or on the ground. There's, like, help people push them out of the plane because it's on fire, maybe.
Oh, I'll be pushing some people.
To get out the damn door.
Get out of that door.
When we fly, we get the row. We get in front because when we were bigger, the first time we ever flew,
Nobody wants to walk through a fucking sea of people.
No, so the first time we ever flew together, we were both bigger, and
we still big.
Yeah, we still big. But we were bigger than this, and we were in the back of the plane, and it was a smaller plane, and we ass checked everybody's shoulder on the way back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 40 people, and then
you try not to hit people with like your butt or your belly. But somebody's getting hit with something.
So you either get butt or crotch, and I think you'd rather have the butt than the crotch.
I can go this side or I
we've
can
been
go
walking
this side.
all day long.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather hit people with my butt than my belly because it's just weird.
So
like
when
you get
we
a belly
book-
to the face.
When we book flights now, we get in the front. We get in the front.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Saliva
Next time
just
I'll lift up my shirt and just raise somebody.
make him regret sitting in front.
I was like, I hit that one guy who's on his laptop, and I like hit him with my butt, and I was like, my bad, and he's just like, don't worry about it, and I was like,
don't worry about it. All right.
It'd be even funny if we were just like, you're good.
you're good, you're good.
Like, yeah.
You can actually do it again if you want.
Yeah, but we get the row behind those people, and every time they'll be like, oh, so you guys know what to do? If something happens, an emergency, you're just going to help them off and all this other stuff. And every time I'm just like, it's like, that sucks.
We can't. The thing is, we can't sit there because I use an extender, and they don't want people who use extenders.
Yeah,
to help
if
people
you have
off
a
the plane.
seatbelt extension, they don't want you
sit there.
helping people.
You know why?
Off the plane.
Because they don't want somebody morbidly obese and out of shape to help other people off the plane. They're like, if you can use an extender, we don't want you here. You have to sit in the back.
Sometimes it helps to
That's
be
a loophole.
overweight.
See,
Yeah.
you're doing it right. That's
Sometimes
right.
it helps to be overweight.
Well-
Nobody expects a lot of physical activity out of you, and
Yeah.
nobody expects you to help them off the plane.
Because they think you're going to get winded halfway through and then just jump off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly.
Well, I on the way back, I sit in the very back row, so I'm right against the back of the plane.
Right.
And the whole time I'm hearing everything. I can hear the tail of the plane move. I'm feeling it, and I'm
that's creepy. Though.
I'm like, this thing's gonna rip in half and just suck me right out.
Yeah.
And so driving's cool.
Yeah.
I'd much rather.
It is. I mean, I get it because we sat next to the engine that first time, and that shit, that's so annoying.
That was pretty bad sitting next to the engine. And my standpoint is Cheyenne doesn't really like to drive, especially on like interstates and stuff, unless she has to, and definitely can't be at night because she has night blindness. So I'm kind of stuck. So it's one of those things like if we drive farther than like 5 or 6 hours, that's about my stopping point.
Oh, for real?
Because at that point, because I drove to Nashville and then basically like 5 to 6 hours, that's like my point. If I can't drive there, I'm definitely just gonna fly. Or if we swap, that's fine with me. But if I'm straight just by myself, then I'm not into it.
We go to Florida once a year, and I drive all the way.
Yeah.
Like one shot.
Yeah. That's the way our dad is. Like just straight up our dad, he's like, because our dad drives like the speed limit or maybe 5 miles over.
Not me. I'm getting there quick.
That's the thing he said whenever he drives to Florida, he's like, it's different. He's like, I go probably 10 to 15 over. And I was like, well, okay.
Yeah. But like he will not fly at all. But he's in his 60s and he's just like, I'm not flying. I was like, but it takes this much time and it's a little easier on you guys because you're older. He's like, I'm just gonna drive. I'm gonna drive because our family down there lives in St. Augustine and it's a little more southern, so it's about 16 plus hours down there. So,
but we always fly. Hour and a half down on a plane and then an hour away to the beach.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
I mean, the convenience of it definitely makes sense and would be really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
But I like living.
That's true.
That's fine. Hey, if we had been through something like that, I'd probably be scared.
What's funny though is that recently, so that was I could have flown if I wanted, and I pulled out. But the most reason was I was fine with it. Like I was like, no, it's not that far for me. It's fine. I think I drove like 8 hours the first night. Stopped. I think it was like 8 or 9 hours to Tulsa. I slept in Tulsa. The next day, woke up, went and picked Donnie up from Oklahoma City, then drove like another hour to Lawton, and then made it my way back through, and then dropped him back off at the airport, and then went back home. But I was like, all right, well, maybe this will be all right. Maybe it's not going to be that big of a deal for me to fly. Like, it'll be all right, not a big deal. And then I was going to read a book, and I'd mentioned these books I was going to read, and you were like, that Travis Barker one's really good. Definitely read it. So then I read it, and once I was done, I was like, oh yeah, not flying.
Okay, so the Travis Barker book, it's a very, very traumatic situation.
Yeah, not flying.
Yeah.
If I have to do it, I will. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to. So it's like I'm going to Nebraska in a couple months. And I have a string of shows there. I'm driving.
Right.
It's like a 13-hour drive.
Yeah.
I'm driving. I'm just going to drive. Like, I know that they had already said, yeah, we'll fly you out. And I was like, nah, that's cool. I got it. Like, I'll drive out there.
Right.
But here's another thing. If I would have flown, then I would have been at their discretion where I went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would have had to been riding in the car with them. Also, I wouldn't have been the one to pick Donnie up from the airport, which means that from city to city, I'm riding with Donnie Baker, which means that now I have an opportunity to talk with him about comedy and figure things out.
Right.
Which just so you know, his name, not Donnie Baker.
Right.
Some people it blows their mind. I'm like, no, dude, that's my friend Ron. But so we talked about like comedy a lot. We talked about Elvis a lot. We talked about just like things that we're interested in, and developed a friendship.
Right.
And if I would have flown, I wouldn't have had that opportunity.
Exactly.
So I went with my gut, decided to drive, and turns out it was the right choice.
Now you're friends with Ron.
He's I would say it's one of those situations where like I'll call him my friend, but he probably doesn't know my name.
I feel like he might know your name.
Yeah.
Your name in his phone is just long-haired guy with.
It's like you pick him up and he's just like, "Hey, buddy," and then he just gets in the car.
He calls me Rick Rubens. Yeah, he's always like, he's like, check it out, everybody, it's Rick Rubens. But whenever he talks about me on stage, he always makes sure to plural my last name on stage. So he's just like, hey, everybody, give it up for Jake Rubles.
He sounds like a cool dude.
He honestly is not what you would like if you only know his Donnie Baker character.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are like, oh, I would not like that guy. And I'm like, dude, he's just doing a character. That's not who he is.
Right.
He's just being funny and that's not the guy that he is at all.
Exactly.
He's super nice. He's very considerate. Like he is exactly the kind of comedian you want to travel with. Like he's just a super cool dude. And I can't wait to do more shows with him. I think, I don't know when the dates are. I want to say they're in November.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, November 5th. I think 4th, 5th, and 6th is the Nebraska trip. So
go to Nebraska November 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, I mean, like, where are we at? What is this, the 13th? Yeah, so I have a show tomorrow night, which is going to be cool. I'm in Nashville, Indiana,
right on.
Which is, I'm doing the Merry Pranksters family reunion.
Yep.
So you guys hip with the Merry Pranksters? You know who that is?
Not really. I've heard of it, but I'm not.
So the Merry Pranksters back in the 60s were like, they were kind of like the acid movement. So you had like Timothy Leary and who became Ram Dass. Not Timothy Leary didn't, but Albert became Ram Dass. So like these guys were on the East Coast, famously like doing acid trips and stuff like that, like dropping LSD and everything. Then on the West Coast, you had the Merry Pranksters that were led pretty much, quote unquote, by Ken Kesey, who's the author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
So basically what it was is that this guy, Ken Kesey, did the acid tests, like the experiments that the government would do on college students back in the 60s.
Like the Unabomber, like Ted Kaczynski, that kind of that thing.
Yeah, so he was part of the acid tests.
Wow.
And it really opened his mind, opened him up a lot to where it like changed his life.
Right.
So then he was like, I want to do this more.
Right.
So like he started, and I'm not like an expert on this by any means. This is just like my knowledge of it. He wanted to go do a cross country trip to go to the World's Fair, and then he had a couple friends who were like, I want to do that too. Can I come? And he's like, yeah. And then more and more people were like, well, I want to come. So eventually they got a bus. They got this bus. They named it Further, and like psychedelic bus, like painted it all up and everything. And then this whole group of these beatniks basically got in this bus and went on this cross-country trip. And while they were doing it, Ken was like, well, we're going to take acid while we go. We're going to drop acid, and I'm going to film us, and we're going to make a movie, basically.
Huh.
The movie was never really released because, like, it was just...
Yeah, I can't imagine.
So, but one thing for me that, like, the two things that stand out to me about the Merry Pranksters is on that trip, the bus got stuck in this field, and there was like this pond there, and they're all on acid, and they go outside and they're like swimming while some people went to go get for help. I can't speak. They went to go get help. I do this on stage too. I don't know why anyone likes me. So they leave. There's a group of them that are still there. That group that's still there had some acrylic paints, and like put these acrylic paints like in the water on the pond, and took a white t-shirt and put it down in it and kind of invented tie-dye.
Really?
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Now tie-dye's been around since like thousands of years, but they invented like what we know as tie-dye now.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So it kind of was like birthed on this trip. So for me, that's pretty dope.
Pretty sweet.
I like that.
That's pretty sweet.
And then after this trip, Ken Kesey continued to do some stuff, ended up kind of becoming like famous, more and more famous for being like this quote unquote leader of the hippies, you know?
Right.
And they used to have these parties called the acid test because he left for a little bit, got arrested, some stuff happened. Whenever he came back, the acid movement was exactly where he had left it.
Right.
And he was like, whoa, this is supposed to elevate us. We're supposed to get to the next level. Like, the drug isn't supposed to be our life. The drug was supposed to elevate us to this next level.
Right.
We're all still where we're supposed to be. So he developed something called the acid test, which was like basically, I don't know exactly what all went into it, but if you passed the test, you graduated, quote unquote, from doing drugs. Like, or from at least doing acid. So you'd like graduate to that next level. So his thing is like, maybe we don't need to be doing this like we are. Let's get to that next level of enlightenment that'll open us up, which actually spoke a lot to me because I'm sober now.
Right.
And I've always felt like I don't need drugs anymore. Like, I needed drugs to get me to where I am now as a person.
Right.
I feel like, because it did open me up to a lot of things that I probably would have been closed off to otherwise. I'm not saying you should do drugs. I'm just saying for me it worked, you know? So, so like me reading about him saying like, no, we get to that next level and then we're good, really meant a lot to me.
Right, exactly.
As somebody who like struggles with the image of someone who does drugs, but I don't do drugs. You know, it's just like this weird thing. And so that was really cool. But the band, the house band of all these parties was a band called the Warlocks. And the Warlocks changed their name later to the Grateful Dead.
Right.
So
everything in your life is literally
it all
connected.
comes together.
Yeah. So
everything in your life is connected full circle in Brown County, Indiana.
So when this dude messaged me and was like, hey, bud, I'm doing this show. You've probably never heard of them. They're the Merry Pranksters. Do you want to be on this show? And I was like, did you look at my profile picture? I was like, dude, I know who that is. Are you kidding me? Yes, I want to do that show. Like, I didn't ask any details. I was just like, I'm in. Yeah, which is bad business decision. But I got on it, and then I got my buddy Patrick Murray, who's like another Deadhead. If we're on the same show, people are like, why are you on the show twice? Like, because we're just two dudes with big beards and long hair and tie-dye, you know. It's just like, this is just us. Mm-hmm. And so I got him on the show too, which is dope. He got himself on the show. I just nudged people in the right direction. His comedy got him on the show. Right. I didn't do any favors. I just said, you should book this guy, he's funny, and then he was, and it was a good time. So that's tomorrow. It started today. So it's a 2-day festival.
Huh.
So it's the Merry Pranksters has like different, like any family that have different branches of a family after all these years.
Yeah.
So this is just a branch of one of the families, the Merry Pranksters.
Okay.
And that's going to be great. Like John Mulehill's the guy who booked us all on it. He's doing some comedy. Then Ryan May and Blake Champlin is doing comedy tonight. Then tomorrow it's Patrick Murray, Chris Wolf, and me. And which is great. I mean, I love all those guys, so I'm excited about it. And there's a bunch of music between. Like, I think I'm going up at 11:30 tomorrow night, which at first I was like, what? That's late.
Yeah, that's super late.
But I'm going up right before a band.
Okay.
And the band, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming that the band is probably like what a lot of people want to come to the show for.
Right.
Like, they're definitely not coming for me. You know what I mean? But there's a band, John Welton and the Awakening, and I guess they're a pretty big deal. Like, I don't know a lot of like smaller jam bands or anything.
Right.
But I hear good things about them, so I'm going up right before them. So I might actually have the sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It might be like opening for Tenacious D type situation.
Could be.
Exactly. So I don't know for sure, but definitely it's going to be a fun show either way. Like, it's right up my alley. So if nothing else, I'm gonna go early, obviously, so that way I can hang out and meet some people.
Yeah.
Hopefully get some good stories from it.
Better fill up that merch bag.
I did. That's what I was doing all day today. I'm not drinking anything that they give me.
I don't blame you.
Yeah. So
bring your own liquids and food.
Right. So I'm doing that tomorrow, and then Sunday, Charlie Walker's in town, and he's only in town for like a week. I think he's in town, like in the state for like 3 weeks, but he's only going to be here one night. He's at Hoppy Wobbles.
Right.
So we're having him there, so I'm doing that Sunday. And then the 20th and 21st, I'm going to be in Greenwood at Gutty's Comedy Club, and I'm featuring for Johnny W. there.
Right on.
I don't know Johnny W., but he's friends with Dusty, and Dusty said some really good things about him. So I was like, well, that's cool. Like a friend of a friend type situation where like I'm excited to go just to, just talk to him about that. And then on the 22nd, I'm back at Hoppy Wobbles because, which I'm actually not on this show, but I'll be in the room.
Right.
But Rob Wilfong, Kyle Buck, Jeff Toy, and then it's going to be hosted by Bill Lloyd. It's going to be at Hoppy Wobbles, so that's going to be fun.
Right on, man.
I don't know why not.
Hoppy Wobbles is back bumping.
Yeah, pretty much every Sunday.
Yeah, we haven't been since it started back up. I'm guessing it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's been going great.
Yeah.
I mean, the shows, we had Dan Alton last Sunday.
Yep.
And he made me laugh so hard I almost left the room. I'm not even making that
Really?
up. Like, I was laughing so hard that I was like, I have to step outside for a second. Like,
Wow.
it was hurting. One of the funniest dudes I've ever met. So that was a blast.
That's awesome, man.
And then the 27th, I'm at the Pixie Theater to do that clean comedy thing.
I think you'll like it there, man.
Yeah.
I really do. It's like I said, it's like you were saying earlier, it's a theater, so it's not like great for like a comedy show, but what they do is actually pretty cool.
Right on.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, some theaters I think are okay. It just depends. And also, like, if they already have, like, created an environment for comedy, then people know what to expect.
Right, exactly.
I think this other theater, he just hadn't done a lot of comedy shows there. So, and people were there to see Donnie, too, so it was like, I think it was just like this weird mix that still made for a good show.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was just like after Ron got off the stage, he was like, "Man, I don't think they were like laughing that hard." I'm like, "No, they were. You just couldn't hear them."
Yeah, exactly.
You're in a theater. You just couldn't hear them.
It's meant to go out, but not like singular voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then in September, September is going to be a pretty cool month because the first week, like September 1st, I'm in Marshall, Michigan, and
we are Marshall.
Yeah.
Is that where it's
Wait,
from?
no.
Virginia.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
Marshall, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff. So
It's football.
And I've also never been. I've been to Michigan once years
Right.
ago, and it was not for comedy. So, I'm just.
I can only guess what it was for.
I'm curious to see how it's going to go. But I'm with. I don't know who I'm featuring for all the nights because I have someone booked me. There's an agency that I'm working with that booked me on it.
Oh, cool.
I have no idea which is weird. And it's like I don't want to like message and be like, who am I working with?
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, who am I working with?
Right.
So, but the nice thing is, so that Marshall's on the 1st, but then on the 2nd, I'm in Midland, Michigan, and I'm with Andy Beningo. So he's my friend. So like I know that one's going to be fine.
Right.
And then on the 4th, I'm in Sagatuck, Michigan with him. So it's like, at least I know who I'm with there. You know what I mean?
Man.
So those would be fun. And then pretty much every Sunday I have something going on at Hoppy Wobbles, even if I'm not there.
Right.
But yeah, and then the 10th and the 11th I'm in Minnesota for the new Gutty's location. So
Heck yeah.
lots of stuff.
It's crazy, man.
It's
I don't even know when was the last time he was here.
He's been here. The last time we had to cancel because your voice was just completely gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounded like this. Whenever it came back, it got weird.
Right. So, yeah, so the last time we had to cancel because your voice was completely gone. And
I'm trying to remember,
the
but
time
like
before,
back then, you were just like things were starting to get rolling, and now you're everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Well, it was also I think that was the 20th. I was supposed to be here on the 20th of June.
Right.
June 20th. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I think last time I was here, I can't remember. I think it was right after things opened back up.
Yeah, I think it was like April or something like that.
Yeah, so things were just still weird, and also like I'm just. I always tell everybody like I don't know why things are happening the way they are for me. I try to be cool. I try to have fun. I work very hard at what I'm doing, and I'm a firm believer that whoever's in control of the universe has laid a path out before me, and I'm following it.
Right.
Yep.
So call it God or whatever you want, but like there's something in my mind that is controlling everything, and he put a path out, and I'm just like, yeah, let's see where this takes me.
Yeah, the last time you were on was February And it was
was
that was
February?
when Grant was here.
Woo!
Yeah,
They were
'cause I
both on
crashed-
together.
That was a good one.
Because either I crashed the party or he crashed it. I feel like I brought him.
I don't know.
You brought him.
It was.
Okay.
I thought it was funny because he would talk and he'd be like, "Hey, it's my episode. Like you can quit talking now."
Maybe be quiet.
Yeah.
That was a really good one. That was a good one.
I love Grant. He's awesome. Yeah.
Grant's a good time.
Yeah, it's been fun, like traveling around. I mean, but the thing is like, it's weird that, you think about whenever you're just getting things going and you're like, you have to work so hard on your stage presence, you have to work so hard on your jokes, and you have to make sure like that's just comedy. And it's like, that's such a small percentage of comedy that you don't even realize.
Right.
That's super important and you have to do it. But like, I didn't realize all the behind the scenes stuff. Like, I've got to make sure I have shirts. So that in itself, I make my own merch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tie-dyeing my shirts. I'm putting the vinyl on it. I have family members who are helping me. Like,
right.
My mom's dope and she helps me a lot, even whenever I don't ask her to. But she does. My wife helps me and everything. But it's like, if I have a string of shows coming up, I got to have a suitcase full of merch. So, because I don't get paid enough to not have merch.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not making money in comedy.
Right.
I'm making money selling comedy.
Yeah.
And then there's also, so it's like you got that side of it, but then you also got like, how many emails am I sending out every day to these bookers, to these comedy clubs, to all these different places that I never hear from again.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm sending out 100 emails and I'll get one person might email me back.
Right, exactly.
And it's just, which is disheartening.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, was my video garbage? Like, am I not that funny?
Right.
And then you get that one person that's just like, yeah, we want to book you. And then you're just like, okay, I'm still in the game. Everything's still fine. But, it's weird because I think since I am so new to comedy, I'm so early on, and then I'm being very lucky, very blessed on things that are happening. Like, I have this imposter syndrome.
Right.
To where, like, I'm thinking, like, well, why me? Like, are you sure? Are you sure you want me? Like, And then I go to these shows, and then, like, I'm going up before, someone like Dusty, who is my favorite comedian.
Right.
Who I'm very blessed now to call a friend, but he's my favorite comedian. Like, not just like, oh, he's my favorite friend that does comedy. No, like, before I met the dude, I would watch his comedy, and he would kill me. He was so funny. And still, I've seen his bits now. I talk to him in the green room and everything. I'll do a weekend with him where we'll do 5 shows, and he goes out, and on the 5th show, I'm still laughing in the green room.
Right.
I've heard all these bits, but they're still hilarious.
Right.
So it's like, I'm blessed with all this, but I feel like you see somebody like Dusty, and I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what do I have to offer? And then
Right.
and then I get up, and then I just give it everything I have. And luckily, after the show, I have people coming up to me like, that was great. I loved it, and I'm like, cool, buy a shirt. I need some,
Buy a shirt.
I need some money. So
that's just like us. Was like, hey, you like the show? Rate and review us on iTunes, brother. It helps out more than you know. It's like, just buy a shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's, and people are cool. Like, it's, that I think the best part of doing comedy so far has been the really, really cool relationships.
Right.
Like, but again, it's weird because I'm 3 years into comedy.
Right.
I should not be allowed to do what I'm doing. I know there's probably people who are a little irritated at me and think that, like,
Most likely.
and are like, why is he going to do anything? I'm funnier than he is. And you probably are.
That's how
I don't, like I said, something is happening and it's cool and I dig it and I want it to keep happening. But like when we were in Oklahoma, this dude came to the show and he runs a museum for the Outsiders movie, the movie The Outsiders,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So the house that the movie was filmed in is still standing.
Right.
The guy who was in House of Pain, Danny O'Brien, maybe, I think might be his name.
I think
they all call him Danny
I've ever
Boy.
seen that.
Yeah.
So the guy from House of Pain bought the house and is turned it into like a museum. So this dude that I met at the show runs it. So he came in and was just like, before you guys leave, swing by tomorrow, check out the house. me as a nerd, I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow, big cat. You
fucking
know, like,
love The
I'm
Outsiders.
in. Yeah,
Such
exactly.
a good movie.
I was like, I'm so into this. The guy who owns the production company that put the shows on he was there too. We were hanging out together. I was actually giving him a ride back to Indiana, so he was like, I'm in. That's great. Unfortunately, Ron had to go to the airport the next morning, so he couldn't make it. But I wasn't going to tell this guy who was like, you guys come on through, bring Donnie.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we'll be there. Turns out Donnie can't make it, but I'm still coming through.
All right.
So the next day, I take Ron to the airport, drop him off. We end up going to The Outsiders, and I don't want to come off sounding like I'm bragging. This was a weird moment for me that made me feel like an imposter, and it was really funny to me that I laughed about very hard. So when we get there, the dude that runs the company goes up first because I drive in my house slippers. So I'm not walking up there in my house slippers.
Right.
So
man.
Yeah. Which is funny because I put on flip-flops. So it's like, what's the difference?
So you
right?
always drive in your house slippers?
If I'm on a trip, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like around town and stuff, no. But
Just
like,
comfortable?
yeah. I'll always. I mean, 9 times out of 10 when I do a show,
right,
I have the house slippers like in the green room with me.
Wow.
For whenever I'm off the stage, I'm putting them on. I just like to be comfortable, dude.
Yeah,
like
man,
that's my thing.
That's like,
I get
it
it.
just reminds me like a Hugh Hefner. Like he gets out of bed, puts the slippers on, and just walks around in a row with the slippers
Yeah,
on.
that's my goal. Like I'm working to that point. I'm just not there.
That's funny.
So like I'm changing my shoes. He walks up the house first. The guy sees him coming up. There's a whole group of people on the front lawn because they're there for the tour, right?
Yeah.
So he turns and he looks at him and goes, "Oh, hey man, I'm really glad you could make it." And was really excited to see him. And then I come walking up and not thinking anything about it. I'm just like going to walk up, and the guy turns around and looks at him and he goes, "Oh man, Vietnam Jesus is here." So I kind of like waved, and everybody that was there turned and started like nudging each other, and they were like, "He's here." And I was like, I'm looking around, right?
I thought you were fucking Donnie Baker.
No, but I was looking to see like who's here.
right.
And then they all start talking to me, and they're like, "Dude, great show last night, man. That stuff really cracked me up. You're so funny. Thank you so much for coming." Like, they were at the show the night before,
Really?
heard me tell the guy, "We'll be there tomorrow," and a group of them came to
Really?
see us.
That's crazy.
So then it was just, like, real weird and stuff, and people were, like, high-fiving me and everything, and they were like, "We loved the show last night," and they were, like, saying my bits back to me. And I was like, "Oh, this is kind of weird." So
yeah, I thought you were gonna say like, oh, he's like, oh, Donnie Baker's coming in. When he come out, be
Yeah.
like, oh, there he is. Like, it's Donnie Baker.
Well, whenever he said it, I was definitely like, "Who's here?" You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean? But so like we do the tour and everything, and it was really cool. And then afterwards, we were in the gift shop, and the guy running the tour came back and got me, and he was like, "Hey, dude, did you check everything out?" I was like, "Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much for like letting us be here and everything. I really appreciate it. I love this movie." And he's like, "Well, did you get your picture taken?" I was like, "Yeah, I took some pictures." And he's like, "Oh no, the picture, you need to take your picture with the chocolate cake
Right.
and the beer." And I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "No, that's good, man. Don't worry about that." And he's like, "No, we need you to do it." And I was like, "No, I'm okay." And he's like, "No, seriously, you have to do it." And I was like, "Okay."
Can't leave unless you
Right?
do.
So I was just like, "Oh, okay." So we go in there, and I'm just like holding the cake up and stuff. And he's like, "No, sit on the floor just like Emilio Estevez did. You have to do it just like him." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like it's getting weird at this point.
Right.
So like he makes me like he cleared the room out. There were people like touring in there, and he's like, "Everyone out!" Like, and I sit down on the floor, and like he took my picture and everything. And I was like, "Thanks, man. I really appreciate it." And he's like, "All right, now come outside. We'll take your picture outside." And I was like, I'm really okay. And he's like, "No, come on, just outside. We make everybody do it." And I was like, "Okay." So then we go outside, and I'm standing in front of the porch, and I'm just kind of like waving. And he's just like, "No, you got to come down here on this step, on this first step. Stand here." And I was like, "Okay." And he goes, "We make all the celebrities do this." And I was like, "Who do you think I am?" He's like, yeah, last week Leonardo DiCaprio was here. We had him do it. Green Day was here. We had him do it. He's like, we have them all stand here so that way, like, their pictures are, like, next to each other.
What?
I was like, so, like, let me get this straight. You had Green Day.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I said, you had Green Day stand on the steps so you can put their picture up. Then you had Leo. Leo. I call him Leo.
Yeah.
Stand on this step so you can put that picture up. Now you're having me stand on this step so you can put my picture up. I said, what's going to happen is people are going to go, Green Day, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, oh my gosh. Why is there a homeless dude right here?
I thought he'd been like, if he hangs your picture up and it's just like Jeff Bridges.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I was just like, are you sure? It caught me so like off guard whenever he's just like, yo, we have all the celebrities stand here. I was like, well, then I shouldn't stand here. I was like, I'm an opener on the road sometimes.
That's funny.
Like
That's
it was
insane,
just,
though.
but like to those guys, like I was just a comedian who's like, I'm doing what I love and everything, and they liked my set, so it was like very humbling. Like that was nice, but at the same time, kind of like, dude. Maybe you're a little loose with the word celebrity.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you should say that anymore. Like yeah.
Like before he said your name, before he was talking to you, he said Leonardo DiCaprio. Like
my name does not belong in the same language as his. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like that made no sense. But
Right.
and more than likely, all it was this guy stroking my ego. You know, like he was
Probably.
probably like, look at this kid. Look at this guy. He's got nothing going for him. You know, like he's at the end of his rope. He's very sad. We watched his set last night. Not that funny. Let's just build him up. You know, let's just build him up here. I'm gonna call him a celebrity. You know,
please tell me you're gonna turn this into a bit.
I hadn't thought about it because I feel like whenever I'm talking about it, I don't want to come off arrogant. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't want it to be like, this one guy called me a celebrity this one time. I was at this place and yeah, I hang out with Leo on the wall.
On the wall.
You know?
Right beside me, guy.
Stood on the same step as him,
Yeah.
you know. not a
Fucking
big-
Green Day's there.
This one time I heard Green Day. Well, I heard the picture being hung on the wall, but it's next to my picture. It's a whole thing. So, like, because I never want to be that guy. I never want to make it seem like, especially being so new into comedy.
Right.
Like, I don't want to make it, I'd never want to be the dude that's just like, guess what I did? Because I'm very blessed. I'm super lucky. None of this should be happening to me. It's weird. But I'm very happy that it is.
That's great, man.
So
I mean, we kind of talk about the same thing with Taryn too, Taryn JD, and that's what he says too, because he's kind of blown up in the tattoo world too, and being from, or he has the part of the shop in North Carolina and here in Bloomington, and I went and got my tattoo like almost 2 months ago or something like that, and we talked to him, and he was talking about social media and everything like this, and about how all these kids make this money on TikTok, and what if he needs to get into it, and maybe he thinks he needs to work harder and all this stuff. And I was like, you're doing what you need to be doing. You're putting in the work. You're practicing. Yep. You're doing all these good drawings. You're putting it out on social media like you should be, letting the world out there. I was like, it comes to people who deserve it. I was like, eventually those kids doing TikTok, something else will become famous. Maybe they'll go do that and be successful in it. But I was like, eventually that shit runs out. But if you're putting in the work, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and he's a good dude.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he's just a good guy. He's fun to be around. He's not. He's always been super nice. He's nice to people, and like that goes so far.
Mm-hmm.
In
exactly.
Anything that you're doing, especially if you're doing something like that, to where it's like. Yeah, if you're just a cool dude, people also want to hang out with you.
Cool dude, and you give people respect.
Not,
and you're a great artist, like a
right.
ridiculously good artist.
Yeah. Like if you talk to people that are famous or celebrities or whatever, and they're just a kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be cool with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's better to be liked and be cool and to be around and just not be popular. You know
like
I mean?
even me telling that story just now, I'm thinking like, is that gonna come off like I'm bragging?
I don't think
it was because it was definitely more of me just being like, "You sure about that?"
Yeah, you sure about that?
Like I'm not that guy.
I mean, I understood because when you were like, "Yeah, Leo was here and Green Day was here," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like why am I standing?
We let
here?
all the celebrities here, and I was like,
You just told us you had to borrow your mom's car to come over.
Yeah, exactly.
We know you're not a celebrity.
And again, I think it was just for my ego because it's like, yeah, we're gonna hang this up, and then he took the picture and then handed my phone back to me. It's like, Well, what? That was my phone. Where are you hanging this picture up at? Like,
airdrop this to you or what?
I was like, so you want me to email this to you? And he's like, nah, I'm good.
I don't know. I figured they were just like, because maybe they figured you like post it and then like plug them.
Nah, I don't know. He was super, super nice. It was just funny the way he said it to me was just like, come on.
Maybe he was fucking with you. I don't know.
The funniest part is he made you get on the floor and hold the fake chocolate cake and the beer.
And the beer. And and at that point, I'm like, man, I don't want to post this on social media because how many people are going to be in my inbox seeing me with a beer, not knowing I'm posing with the outsiders, and just be like, bro, you fall off the wagon?
Beer and cake? I thought you were on the diet.
Yeah,
I thought you're not doing keto, bro, anymore? Jesus.
I hate everything. But nah,
that's the thing.
But I think the weird thing is that whenever you're doing this, they think because I'm with Donnie or Dusty or someone, like, oh, this is just another comedian, and it's like, well, yeah, I'm a comedian, but like,
right.
The only way that you're gonna know me on social media is if you follow me on social media. Right. You know what I mean? But it's cool because they always end up. They're like, yeah, let me check you out on social media, and it's like. So I guess it has to start somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. It's one of those things like people like in your town or whatever. They're like, so when's your Netflix special coming up?
Dude, constantly. I get that all the time, and I'm just telling people that it's about to come out. It's on. It's called The Stand-Ups, and I go by my stage name, Dusty Slay.
Yeah, perfect.
It's like perfect. Just watch it. So
perfect.
But no, I mean, I actually wrote a joke about it because you do get asked all the time being a comedian. Like,
yeah,
you just get those little jabs and stuff. But the thing that gets me is like now I'm at a position now to where they see that I'm traveling.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's a job now. Like I'm actually making money doing it. It's real. Like it's not a hobby.
Right.
So now it's different. It's flipped to where now they're like proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a bad way. Because they're like, this is Jake. He's the comedian of the family. He hangs out with Donnie Baker and Dusty Slay. Tell us a joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, A, I don't hang out with those guys. I'm very lucky that I get to work with them sometimes.
Right.
B, no. I'm not telling you a joke. It's just like, well, you're a comedian now. Why do you can tell us a joke? I'm like, well, my cousin Sarah has an OnlyFans. You're going to make her twerk for everybody at the party? Like, just because it's like what I'm doing doesn't mean I'm going to do it for free.
Does your cousin Sarah actually have an OnlyFans?
I picked Sarah because I don't have a cousin named Sarah.
Okay. Well, that's like somebody's grandpa, one of my friend's grandpas we know. We were actually on vacation in Florida, and this is when I was doing stand-up regularly. And he's like, oh, so you do comedy? He's like, tell me some jokes. And it was the most awkward thing ever.
That was the most awkward
situation
I've ever
That was the most awkward 10
found.
minutes.
They just moved in there.
I continued to do it for 10 minutes. I don't know why.
They just moved in.
It was just the awkwardest. We were staying in our friend's house.
So you did it?
Yeah. For 10 minutes.
You did a set for him?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The thing is, like, but it was one of those.
I laughed.
We were staying there. It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Gosh.
It was dark. We're in Florida. And
they didn't have TV. They just moved in.
Yeah, they just moved in. They didn't have TV, and we're staying there in Florida. And it's like super late at night, and we're all just in the living room. And basically, we don't have anywhere to go because we're staying here. It's not like we can just leave and go back to the hotel. And yeah, it was like a 10-minute ordeal, and I was just like, "That's it." And then it was like this, and then he's like, that was pretty funny. I was like, you didn't laugh once.
Yeah, that's the worst.
The funny thing was, he told his first joke, and their little girl was like 6 at the time, and she's like, ha 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 ha, and started like cracking up laughing,
right.
But she didn't get it. She was just laughing to be a dick.
Even worse.
Right, but then they came back down, because the grandpa's from Indiana, the one that made me do that, basically. And they came to Indiana to visit just like a month ago, and I went over to see him, and it was at that guy's house,
Did he ask
grandpa's
you to tell
house.
more jokes?
He's like, you still doing comedy? I was like, no, I haven't really done it for a while. He's like, well, why not? I was like, I'll focus on other stuff, podcasts, work, you know, other stuff like that. I got other interests going on right now that are working for me.
He was like, probably for the best.
He goes, well, that was pretty funny. I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
I was
Maybe
like,
you should have told your face. I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, you're not trapping me.
It was like, remember that one time you made me tell jokes for 10 minutes in the living room that one time? He's like, scarred me for life, maybe quit.
I quit.
Remember that one time?
I can't remember who it was, but there was a headliner one time we were having this conversation about, people being like, do a joke. And I guess what he does is when someone's like, do a joke, he's just like, well, the cover charge is $20. And then, or his other thing that he'll do is he'll ask them, he'll be like, what do you do for a living? And they'll be like, I'm an electrician. He's like, will you come rewire my house for me for free? And they're like, what? And he's just like, yeah, I also don't work for free.
Right.
Like,
right.
maybe chill out.
Yeah.
But people don't get it because
right.
it's such a weird thing to where, like, yeah, like, I'll try to be funny in conversation, but I'm not going to put on a show.
No.
And the worst thing is, like, my family parties. So I'll be at parties sometime, and there'll be, like, a band on stage.
Yeah.
And whenever they, like, take a break, like, everyone comes up to me, and they're just like, go do, like, 10 minutes. And I'm like, no.
No.
Like, no. Number
right.
one, you all know me here.
Right.
So, like, it's going to be different. Like, the first 10 minutes of my set is, I'm Jake, here's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already know my life.
Right. Right.
I'm not going to get up here and make fun of Dad. He'll cry.
Right.
I'm kidding. He's never there.
Well, that's like we had a big get together for our mom's birthday, and one of them had like a little boombox with a microphone, and they were like, "Cody, get up there, do like 15-minute set."
I was like, 15 minutes. I was like, that's a long time.
That's all I got.
But no, usually when people would tell me a joke, I would give them the worst dad joke I've ever heard in my life. It's not even funny.
No.
And they'd be like, is that what you do on stage? And I'm like, yep. Come see a show.
Not funny, right? Don't come see me.
Yeah, I just didn't care.
You know what I hate worse, honestly, than people being like, tell me a joke. Which is annoying, but at the same time, whatever.
Right.
Like, I asked to be in the position that I'm in right now, so
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. The thing that I will say, though, that is irritating is, I got a funny thing you might like.
Oh, they give you pointers?
Oh my gosh. It's like they proceed to tell me this long story that's supposed to be hilarious. And they're like, you should put that in your set. And I'm like, you should just forget it. Like, that. Nothing about that was funny at all. Like, it's not that funny.
Right. I just watched Good Morning Vietnam, and that just reminds me of that guy. He was just like, I'm funny. And whenever they fire Robin Williams, he gets on there, he was like, oh, hey, Frenchie, what do you like to eat today, or whatever, and he honks the fucking horn.
Right.
It's just, people are just like,
giving pointers.
Yeah.
Giving pointers.
Yeah, that, or they'll be like, my favorite thing is my dad does this a lot, is my dad will call me and be like, hey, I thought of a funny joke for you. And I'm like, all right, Pop, let me hear it. And it's always a joke that everyone's been telling for 40 years. It's just a party joke.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you could totally put that in your set. And I'm like, dude, you're proving you've never seen my comedy. I'm like, that. Why would I do that? I was like, why would I use someone else's material at all?
Right.
I'm like, Dad, I make fun of you on stage. Like, I'm going to put this in my set making fun of it.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to use that joke, but I'm definitely going to tell people that you're annoying.
Like, that's like, just recently, like, my mom found out.
He's not annoying. That was rude. And I'm sorry. I love my father.
Love you, Dad.
I mean, you can still love them, but they can still be annoying.
Yeah.
So my mom found out that I did have a TikTok, and she downloaded the app, and she watches stuff on there.
Jesus Christ.
And she found out that I made a couple of the, like, funny ones or whatever, and then she subscribed to me, and now she's sending Cheyenne videos through text messages, says, tell Cody to do this, it would be hilarious.
I've had a few people do that to me.
Yeah.
But the thing that always bothers me about that is it's always like, they'll send me a message like, you should totally do this on your TikTok. And it's always like a video of like a fat guy doing something funny. And I'm like, you're calling me fat. Like, that's all you're doing is just being like, you kind of look like this chubby guy. Why don't you do it? Right. And I'm like, that's not very nice at all. Like, I don't want you, I'm not doing it.
I was watching YouTube one time at Mom's house, and she's like, you should do this. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you should just walk around with a camera. You're better than these people you're watching right now. And I was like, Mom, shut up. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I don't want to do, I mean, I guess I could quit my job and do YouTube, but I don't really want to because I need money.
Right.
I need to get you guys a sticker.
You do.
I'm actually.
I mean, one more is not going to hurt.
One more will definitely not hurt.
Maybe we'll cover up pedophile puppy. What is this thing? Freaks me out.
That is Cheyenne ordered this workout equipment. It's called.
We talked about this last time.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just. I'm just still looking at it like this is a smooth canine.
Well, everything is usually like man, beer, whatever related, and then you got the girliest sticker I've ever seen in my life.
That is not a girly sticker. This is, if you look at it, like, this lady is in love with this dog, and this dog is putting the moves on her. Like, she's gently laying down.
And the weird thing is, it's work equipment. Like, that's the sticker.
Yeah, I don't. It's a very uncomfortable sticker, and I like that it's right in front of.
And then now, like recently, Cheyenne's big joke is Ryan doesn't want him on his area,
I'm trying
his
to
side.
keep him over
and
there.
now her big joke is sticking him right where his mouse goes.
That's the thing they catch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put mine just right here, and it's the only one that's allowed there. Just tell everybody else, just be like, nope, I don't do stickers. And they're like, well, then what's that? And just be like, well,
right.
That's different.
Well, that's the thing. Like Cheyenne's like, oh, it's on my side of the table. I was like, I sit here more than she does. She's like, oh, this is my side of the table, and she'll be like, well, Jake put his sticker on my side of the table now, and I'll be like, whatever.
I mean, I will.
Yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. We will accept Jake Ruble stickers.
Yeah, I just had a patch made for Logan Scott Hendry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't sell patches, but I have one, and then he liked it, so he asked for one, and I'm just gonna give it to him because he just released his single.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, it's actually really, really good.
I knew it was gonna be good because he's such a phenomenal singer. Like, his voice is so good, but like the extent to how good it was, I legit, within the first 30 seconds, I had chills, and by the end of the song, I had tears in my eyes. Yeah. Like, not even making it up.
I actually listened to it.
Good song.
I listened to it today before you got here.
Yeah.
And did you hear me?
Is this somebody you did comedy with?
It's Logan Scott Hendry. You've seen him on stage. He's
very, very funny.
Very
hilarious.
funny. Suspenders.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody, you know my Suspenders, but no, yeah, I seen it. He put out his album, and I love his voice because it's so different to like Bloomington. Like, it's weird.
I didn't know he sang.
Yeah, very well.
He would sing on stage sometimes just for like bits and stuff like that. But yeah, he just put out his song.
It's called Narcan Manifesto, and it's on Spotify. So anyone listen to this, go to Spotify, look up Narcan.
Narcan.
Yeah, Manifesto by Logan Scott Hendry. Listen to it. You're welcome. You're gonna love it.
And the art's pretty dope too.
Yeah. Like, I want a whole album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
just put out an EP, just
song. And I want a whole album because that style is exactly what I love. I love that style of music. It's right up my alley. So, yeah.
It's
I
saw
you post somebody else went to go shoot for Clerks 3.
Yeah. My buddy AJ Wilkerson, who's hilarious. Like, very, very funny comedian. Captain Autism is his thing. So if you just look up Captain Autism, you'll find him.
Yeah. Okay.
He's so funny. But yeah, he is. I think he's in Jersey right now filming Clerks 3.
See, I saw you post that, and I absolutely love the Clerks movies.
Oh, same.
1 and 2,
same.
They're amazing. I love them.
Yeah. AJ opens for Jason Mewes on the Road.
Oh, okay.
So like, he won a contest in Colorado, I think. And the winner of the contest got to do a weekend with Jay Mewes. He did the weekend, and Jay liked him so much that he's just now his opener on the road.
Cool. That's awesome.
So yeah, he deserves it. He's so funny. Like, he's and just a sweet guy. Like, we talked back and forth on social media a lot, just because like we're both comedians. We're like at the same level. We're both starting to travel. We're trying to do stuff. So we talked back and forth on social media for a while, and then he had a show. Northern Indiana, and then was driving back, I think, to Florida, and he was coming through Indianapolis when I had a show. So he messaged me and was like, hey, dude, I'm in town. You know, can I come through? And I was like, yeah, dude, let's hang out. So he came through, seen the show, and we hung out for a while before he headed back home. And just the nicest guy. Mm-hmm. Like, and we had so much in common. It was unreal. So it could not have happened to a better guy. I'm stoked. I can't wait. I was gonna watch it anyways because I love Kevin Smith. I love all of his movies. Huge fan. Like, one of my goals in life is to get to hang out with Kevin Smith.
Right.
And sounds like now I'm one step closer. I'm a friend of a friend. So it's like your friend is friends with my friend.
Right.
So maybe
that means like you guys should totally hang out.
Yeah, I think so. Dude, I had my picture taken on the first step.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where Leo stands.
Yeah.
I think I could hang out with Kevin Smith.
But that's the thing, like if that was complete bullshit about the first step, like he just shot out 2 names, like Leo and all of Green Day was here.
Yeah, all of Green Day.
All of Green Day. Not just one person. Just
which is weird to say because it sounds like you're saying Olive Green.
Yeah. All of Green Day.
I'm going to start a band called Olive Green Day.
All of Green Day.
There you go. You
Jesus.
only just play just spoofs of Green Day songs.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to do any of that because that means that I'd have to listen to Green Day, and I'm not going to listen to Green Day anymore.
Very true.
I'm completely okay with that.
I
If
never
I
heard-
want to listen to Green Day, I'll listen to good Green Day, which is
Yeah.
called The Offspring.
It was super cool in 9th grade, though. Everybody was into it.
Everybody was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going through my hardcore grunge stage when everybody else was into Green Day, so somehow that one passed right by me.
Right.
So, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say they're not a good band. They've
Right.
definitely had some good ones come out that I've
Yeah.
liked, but yeah.
Definitely danced a time or two at school function to Boulevard
That's
Broken
when
Dreams.
that's when they
for
played
sure.
Green Day, man. Was the school dances.
Yeah.
It was Green Day and what else did they play?
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. That's when everybody was into Limp Bizkit and Puddle of Mud.
Yeah, and like earlier Eminem, like the
Yeah.
Encore album.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you guys?
28.
28.
Okay. Because I was like, yeah, they didn't play any of that stuff for me.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, a little older.
You're not that much older.
Yeah, but by enough to where, like, they weren't playing that stuff.
I mean, how old are you anyway?
34.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not that much older.
No.
But 5 years is a lot in 8th grade dance years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the music changed a little bit.
It's surprising how much it just keeps changing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the music isn't like it used to be," which is true. But I look back, most of the time, mainstream music has never really been that good.
Right.
Most of the time, like you have times that it was, but like it's usually not the best.
Right.
But there's like this resurgence of like really good like Americana music, and then like rock. I mean, everybody is knocking on them, but like Greta Van Fleet for the last 5 years has been doing pretty solid. And I think that they continue to grow, and I think as they find themselves on stage more and more and come out with the album that they probably really want to come out with,
Right.
it's probably going to bring rock back in a different way.
Right.
Good.
Like, it's not dead.
No.
You know what I mean?
I don't think
like,
it ever
music,
died.
yeah, like music's still good.
I don't think it ever died because you still have the dudes who, well, and chicks, all the people who grew up in like the 80s and like that rock never died for them people.
Nah, just like it definitely went underground for a
Oh
while.
yeah, I definitely went
And I
underground.
think right now it's taking a resurgence as in like new forms. So it's like branching off into different types of forms.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, nothing, like with the way that life is lived now, like nothing's ever going to be like the same. Like I just recently watched The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah.
Well, the Bulls documentary.
Right.
But I mean, come on, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's
It was about Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan
The
documentary.
last episode of it is kind of talking about like what a big superstar he was, and then you see him like on stage in front of like thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Chicago whenever they won their championship, and he's like, and the narrator's basically being like, you know, things were different, you know, like he was like the first big superstar, and I was like, we will never get another one though.
No.
Like I don't think it was that Michael Jordan was the first big superstar, because he really wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we had Elvis, we had different people that were like really, really big superstars, but like definitely for being an athlete, absolutely, you know,
Right, exactly.
and also props for not being a white guy. You know what I mean? Like, but
true.
the thing is that like things are different now, because I feel like then we were fed everything together.
Right.
Everybody, for the most part, was getting the same news.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting the same, for the most part. You know, even whenever I was a kid and like whenever I was like into skateboarding, like, you know, the skateboard, we were all getting the same thing. So like the core group of skateboarders, like we for the most part all like the same stuff. You know what I mean? because we were all getting the same thing. We're all getting the same thing from Thrasher. We're all getting the same thing from CCS. Like, we're all getting the same stuff.
It was from one outlet.
Yeah. Exactly. And now you can find anything you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't think we're ever going to have another superstar. I think that we're going to have a lot of stars. We're going to have a lot of celebrities. We're going to have a lot of people. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, really.
Right.
You know, it's probably a good thing. It's a problem because I'm sure for Michael Jordan, that sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whenever they like picked him apart for gambling, it's just like, are you like, I literally have nothing else, so you're gonna pull apart this one thing that I do. By the way, I'm a millionaire. It's okay if I'm gambling.
Yeah.
Like, it's not,
and it's still legal.
When we were driving through Illinois, gambling is like publicly legal there. So every liquor store, pizza place, gas station, just a big banner outside that says slots.
Yeah.
Every single one. And so it's you know, gambling is gambling. It's not illegal.
See, back in the day with Jordan, like if you did anything like out of the ordinary, anything like out of the Christian home type,
it's one of those things where if Michael Jordan did something bad in his prime, like kids like that's their dreams just completely gone.
Well, it's like when Michael Phelps got caught like smoking out of that bong or whatever it was. It was like he just got canceled.
Yeah,
and then he come back and won. So
yeah,
I just, you know, I don't know. I was just thinking about that, and it's like a little thing, but it was just like kind of cool that we're in a position now to where everyone can be kind of famous.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we all have the potential to be kind of famous. Anyone can stand on the step that Leo stood on. You know what I'm saying?
But they get lied to.
Obviously. I think that's pretty apparent that anyone can stand there.
In open-toed shoes.
Yeah,
right?
But they'll crop that out. but it's just the fact of, like, there's so many avenues, there's so many outlets, there's so many different ways. Anyone can be anyone anymore. Like, you can be creative, you can do whatever you want to do. There's people that are famous for doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, and it's fine. I don't care. Like, you figured it out. Like, you just figured it out. You found that little space that needed filled for whatever reason with that thing, and now you're there. Like we were talking about Hickok 45. That's great. That's great that this dude is able to do what he wants to do, and is very well known for it in his circle,
in his genre type of thing.
Yeah, he is a celebrity. Right. You know, whenever it comes to that, and then you have people like Sam the Cooking Guy. Yeah, you know, on YouTube. Like, I love watching Sam the Cooking Guy.
Same.
And and all I said was Sam the Cooking Guy, and you knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, we know who you're talking about.
You know what I mean? It's somebody who's doing something they love, and they just kept doing it. So it's like, I think it's good that we have the avenues that we have now. I think it's good that we're never going to have another Jordan.
Right.
I think it's okay. Like, does it suck sometimes whenever I try to watch NBA, and I'm like, it ain't the same. Yeah. Definitely sucks. You know, we don't have Reggie Millers anymore. We don't have Michael Jordans anymore. We don't have, Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. We don't have, like, that team. And also, as far as I know, they ain't throwing bows like they used to.
No.
And
Dennis, he thrown up on floors and fucking getting in trouble with North Korea and shit.
It would have been cool to, like, see them play, like, if we were a little bit older. Would have been cool to see them play.
I'm lucky that I was able to watch those games. So I'm not a sports guy, and I don't want to make it sound like I am whatsoever. But when the Bulls were the Bulls, I watched.
Right.
Which is saying a lot. Because even people who did not care watched.
Right.
So, like, 90s, I'm watching the Bulls, and I'm watching the Pacers.
Right.
Like, I love Reggie Miller. You know, I mean, Indiana and Reggie Miller was just the king.
Right. Yeah.
So, I did watch.
And gravy.
Yeah, I did watch it then. Like, I really, really liked it. And I never really watched sports after that. And then I would dabble. Like, my uncle was a huge Steelers fan.
Yeah.
So if I was at his house, we'd watch the Steelers games, which kind of made me a Steelers fan a little bit. You know? Not enough for me to, like, freak out. Like, like, I made a post the other day because I'm trying, like, I don't know if I just hit, like, dad age, but all of a sudden I'm, like, craving sports.
Right.
Which is weird. I've never been that guy. Never been into it, really. But all of a sudden I'm just like, I kind of just want to watch a basketball game.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I made this post that was just like, never been this guy, kind of trying to get into it. Like, I've casually watched like, the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah. I've casually watched the Steelers. And some dude like commented on the post and was just like, ugh, Steelers. And I was like, dude, did you read the post? Like, I'm like, I've never been a sports guy. And then you're just like, wait till he says something sports related and let's get him.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, dude, come on, that's half the reason I've never gotten to sports. Is because of stuff like, I don't care who your team is.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there just needs to be a trigger warning for, a Raiders fan or something like that. And I'm like, I don't even, did they have a feud? I don't know. I don't know anything about
sports. As far as I know, everybody's against everybody, bro.
I'm not a sports guy.
Right.
Yeah,
but I would like to be. Not like, I'll never be a sports guy.
I feel like we're kind of the same way. We like,
there's a difference between liking to watch sports and the sports person.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'll usually watch the Super Bowl for a little bit. I'll get pizza and wings, and then I'll watch part of the Super Bowl or whatever.
I'll do a little pizza and wings with you.
But like just to watch it, just to see. But I don't watch any other game.
I don't really like to watch sports or anything like that. And it's one of those things where if I'm in a group of like guy friends or just friends in general, and then if somebody starts talking about sports, I'm like, I'm gonna go over here.
Can I say something?
I mean,
you guys are really good about correcting yourself whenever you're gender specific, and I like that about you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like you keep saying stuff where you're just like, these guys, my guys, or these male comics, or these, and then you're just like, or females, like, or anyone.
Oh yeah,
you're really good about that. I'm just throwing it out there.
We've come a long way.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, Ryan has come a long way.
That was pretty bad.
I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm not. Right. I just wanted to let you know that
Well, thank you. We try very hard.
We try not to offend people because people matter.
People matter. They do. But but it's one of those things like I'm going over to this section to talk about something like read any good books lately.
Oh no, and that's how I am. Oh, and also I probably should be better about not saying guys so much too. So I mean, I wasn't saying that as if I'm the, albeit you're doing a good job. I mean, I just want to give you props.
That's the thing. Like I feel. I say guys, but I could be talking to
for sure.
I could be talking to multiple people, and to me, it doesn't. Yeah. I don't feel like it is because it's like, hey, you guys, or hey, everybody. Or
I did not mean to get on.
You're good.
I was just trying to give you guys props.
No, you're good, man.
Oh, okay.
So
I
meant that, guys.
So at work, I'm professional, but I'm one of those people that's basically saying, hey, what's up? If the director could come up to me and say something like he wants me, I'm like, what's up? What's up, boss?
Yeah, for sure.
Or I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? What's up, man? Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks, dude. What? I'm that guy. I'm never gonna be like, how are you doing?
No. I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna say, what's up?
But no,
Good evening, Janet.
I am a lot like you though, where it's like if I'm in a circle of folks that are talking about sports, I'm like, okay, let's go talk about books, which is nice. Yeah. That's me and you definitely have that in common. Yeah. We've talked about it a lot, but there are times though, and it's just been recent, where all of a sudden I'm like, what is that? Like, who's hockey?
Right. Who's hockey?
It's like, there's got to be something to it. There's a lot of fans.
So if you ever want a partner to watch hockey with, that's Cheyenne. Cheyenne loves to watch hockey. She don't know who she in her words, I don't know who the teams are, but I love watching hockey.
So Andy Beningo is really, really into hockey. Yeah. And I do a lot of shows with him, so I'm like, I see him talk about it sometimes, and I'm like, all right, well, I it's interesting to me.
Right.
And I've always felt like if I was gonna get into any sport, it'd probably be hockey.
Right. I feel like maybe that's why you're starting to watch sports now. Maybe a lot of the dudes you hang out with on the road.
And it definitely could be. You're probably right, because when I was with Ron, where at Buffalo Wild Wings eating, there's a sports is on. So I have been noticing it in the background a lot lately.
So maybe it's growing on you a little bit more.
And I'm sure that's it, because I have been watching NBA Summer League.
Yeah.
And I'm really into it.
Right.
And I'm like, I didn't even know there was a summer league. Yeah. What is this?
Right.
I talked to one of my buddies and I was like, hey dude, I'm going to watch, I said something like, yeah, I just want to watch the NBA game tonight. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, there's a game on tonight that I just wanted to watch. And he's like, why are you being weird? And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, I fully expected you to text me and ask me if I knew where heroin was before basketball. And I was like, well, I'm just saying, like, I'm just going to watch it. And he goes, dude, you have till October. Like, it's not even going on right now. And I'm like, joke's on you, Summer League. And he's like, no one watches that.
Joke's on you, Summer League.
Yeah, he's like, no one
watching
cares
stuff that nobody else likes to watch.
But
funny.
yeah, I'm just watching the Ocho on ESPN.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's one of those things, like, I'm not a huge sports goer or watcher. Like, I'll watch sports. Watching, in person is great.
No, for
but,
sure.
But, like, on TV... Like, there for a while, if, like, on Saturday afternoons, I would watch college lacrosse. Mm-hmm. Super interesting to watch. Like, the alternative sports, like a BMX show, or...
Now, see, I have always been into that.
Right,
yeah. Like, so that
drone racing?
Drone racing? You might like it.
Okay.
We watched drone racing. There was a tournament on for an entire
Shit's
day.
hella intense.
Yeah, there was a tournament on for an entire day, and we watched drone racing for an entire day. It was like 8 hours. Yeah. But it was like this big tournament. And honestly, it's pretty entertaining.
No, I'm into that. Like I watch the X Games and stuff, and I like that. Usually it's just the BMX, and I watch some of the skateboarding, but I don't watch it like religiously. You know what I mean? Like I still don't know a lot of the people, and I still But I'll definitely like turn it on. But yeah, like, I don't know, dude. It's just this weird thing. But also, I'm watching, like, basketball last night, and, like, my son comes in, and he lays down, and then he's like, who are we rooting for, Pop? And I'm like, well, Pacers. Like, we're watching the Pacers play, so let's root for the Pacers. And he's like, all right. So, like, he's getting pumped and stuff, right? And then the Pacers just, like, slaughtered the team. It was, like, 104 to, like, 45 or something crazy like that. And so then, like, we're excited, and we're just like, all right. And it's like, well, this is Summer League. Those players might not even be on the Pacers.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know anything about how any of this works. Like, but it's kind of cool to like it. I will say this: it's hard.
Yeah.
Being in your mid-30s, not knowing anything about sports, because you have people trying to give you all this advice about sports, and you're just like, whoa, pump the brakes. I'm okay. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But B, you can't figure it out. You know, it's not like there's just one thing you can turn on that's just like.
I just learned about Summer League.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I need help, but I don't know what I need help for.
Because if you watch something that's just like, how do I get into baseball? It's just like, well, baseball was started in 1909. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, I don't care about any of that. I don't know what's going on right now. Like, and you're right. Going to live games are dope. That's so much fun. I went to years ago. Me and my wife went to a Cincinnati Reds game. So I won tickets in a sales contest. We got to go watch the Reds play. And whenever we pull into the stadium, she was like, "Oh, who are we rooting for?" And I was like, oh, yeah, we need to root for someone, don't we? I was like, this could have been really boring. If we're just like, okay, good job, fella.
Good job.
Like, I don't know.
Way to hit that ball.
Just looking at the person beside me, I'm really enjoying all of it. Are you?
Yo, that mascot, good guy.
Yeah. That was a really good touchdown.
Right. Yeah. I know his mother. He's a good guy.
He's a good. She makes such good meals.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, we're at Great American Ballpark. We might as well root for Cincinnati.
Right.
We're in their home turf. We have no skin in the game, so let's just stick with them. And she goes, okay, that's our team. They were playing the Chicago Cubs, right? Mm-hmm. So go in and we're watching and we're having a lot of fun. Joey Votto was just like hot, just in so many different ways. And just killing it. And then there was a guy named Jay Bruce that was, so like those are my two favorite guys. Knew nothing about him at the time, right? I know nothing about sports. I don't even know if I'm saying their names right. But I'm just like, I like Joey Votto and I like Jay Bruce. Those are my guys. And I just kept saying, my man Bruce. And she is like, what position do they play? And I'm like, I don't know, but he's playing it. So they end up losing to the Cubs. And then we're leaving, and we're gonna pull out, and we're just like, I hate the Cubs. You know, it's like we knew nothing about baseball. Right. But what's funny is like I don't like the Cubs. Like, still to this day. They won the World Series, and I was like, good for their fans. I'm happy for them.
Right.
But I'm not the guy that's just going to be like, ew, you like the Cubs, bro?
Yeah.
Ew, no, man, I'm a redleg for life, bro. Like, I'm not that guy either. It's just like, that's cool, dude. You like the Cubs. That's fine. I just like the Reds. Yeah. And then, but I get it the most with the Steelers. You know, it's just like being a Steelers fan, which I say lightly. Yeah. Like, I'm like light fan.
I've watched the Steelers play.
You know, it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and then people are just
Do you own any Steelers merch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how much though?
It's my whole bed for himself.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, I've got a Heinz Ward jersey, and I do have like a couple Steelers blankets, and just like little things like that.
Right.
Because I will say, like, as far as sports go, I've probably followed them the most.
Right.
So I do like them probably the most. But the funny thing is, I don't even like football that much.
Yeah.
Like, whenever it comes to sports, like, in the way I rank sports now, as a very into sports guy, I'm very into it, guys. It's a very big deal to me now. It's how I live my life. I'm just strictly sports now. Yeah. All my podcasts are sports. I thought this was a sports podcast. I'm turning it into one.
Right.
Everything in my life is sports now. No, but like I do, NBA is probably my favorite thing to watch between NBA and Major League Baseball. Like those are my neck and neck. I do enjoy watching those games. Then it's probably hockey.
Yeah.
Then it's probably whatever drone thing you guys are talking about. And then football.
You might be into drone racing because these are like
that's the thing. Ever since COVID, they haven't had any.
Yeah, they dragged in like semi-pro like race car drivers.
Oh,
and basically they like developed this drone racing, and it's pretty freaking crazy.
They just get these like abandoned
these abandoned warehouses. They put cars in them. And they like fly through the windows.
No, I'm gonna watch this. It does sound like
it's
really
actually
cool.
pretty cool.
And that's the thing. Like it takes them like 4 minutes to like assemble a drone, but they just have them like on standby. So if one crashes, they're just like already built and made, and they get them back up.
But it's like dark. It's dark and it's only lit by the track.
Okay.
It's pretty insane. They got these big headsets on and they're just looking at the camera on the drone.
Which has to be a blast for them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, especially for like race car drivers and stuff. And that's the thing. Like I'm cool with the level that I'm at. I'm cool with like just having a taste of the NBA.
Like weekend warrior type of thing.
Yeah, having a taste of the MLB. Like I've got I'll watch the Pacers play and I'm gonna root for the Pacers. I like the Reds, I'm gonna watch them play, I'm gonna root for them. If they lose, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
I'm a little upset, but not terribly. Like it's fine. I'll watch NFL and I'll probably root for the Steelers still. And then hockey, like I've been watching the Predators a lot. I love Nashville. I have a lot of friends in Nashville, so I feel like I'll check out the Predators. Yeah. But there's a brand new team in Seattle called the Seattle Krakens that hasn't even played a single game yet. But this is their first year that they're actually going to play hockey. And I'm like, that's perfect. I'll just slide right in on the ground floor. Right in. I'll become a fan. And then in 10 years, I can make fun of people that are just like, I like the Krakens. I'm like, I like them since before they were a team. You know? And all of this is I'm okay with. But the moment that I'm like, you guys watch the Indy 500? I'm out. You know what I mean? It's just like racing. I can't do that. Like, the NASCAR almost can be like, I can casually be like, okay, NASCAR's okay. Mm-hmm. But the Indy 500, I have to draw the line somewhere. I will watch prison tennis before I will watch. I'm going to watch prison tennis anyway.
Prison badminton.
That's pretty good.
Any sport played in prison, I'm watching before anything.
Right. 100%. Yeah. And so that was a bad example. Yeah. But I feel like
racing is kind of there. I think the coolest racing I ever seen was, I don't know if it was the Olympics or it's just like a thing that they have every year, but it's ice racing with dirt bikes, and they have.
That sounds cool.
They don't have brakes.
See, and I do like watching like motocross races and stuff that. And there are some things that I'm like, I'll kind of turn it on and be like, this isn't too bad. And I will say this. If NASCAR was an hour and a half long, I'd be into it.
Yeah.
It's not 6.
I think a lot of people would be.
Dude, like too much. I'm sorry, but too much.
Yeah. Animal racing, like the frogs and the turtles, dope. Then people get super excited. I get excited because you're just like, You got 2 turtles, and they're rolling. And like they both got lettuce at the end.
Yeah.
And you got these 2
I used to do
turtles.
turtle races.
Then like one gets quick, and then he just stops, and then the other one kind of slowly catches up. And like then people are like, "Come on, motherfucker!" And it's like,
it gets intense. I used to have turtles, and we would. I lived in this house. It's the first house me and Chia had. It's a 1-bedroom house. The kitchen was like a hallway that they just put the kitchen in.
Put stuff
Right.
So it's super small, no table or anything. The shower and toilet was in the bedroom. So it's like...
Was this a house or an apartment?
It was a house.
Really?
Yeah, but it used to be like an old schoolhouse.
Okay.
So it was like the cheapest place in town.
Right.
And that was like where our first house together and everything. But since our kitchen was like long, we had these turtles, and we had 3 turtles. So it was like I would have one, Chia would have one, and we'd always have a friend over that would have one, and we'd put them at the end of the kitchen, and then we'd have like a piece of tape, and then we would let them race. And dude, that gets intense sometimes.
Yeah.
I almost got a divorce.
I know when like my go-to for sports and stuff like that is like not pro, but like semi-pro or like college or even high school.
That's like if I catch arena football.
Right.
I prefer arena football
Exactly.
because that shit is like it's basically rules in arena football.
And we
It's rough.
used to listen to, and I still kind of listen to a podcast. They got into this semi-pro baseball league from Jacksonville called the Jumbo Shrimp. So the semi-pro leagues have these like awesome names, like hockey, the Krakens. Like that's a cool mascot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. Like that's an awesome name.
Yeah.
You could just look up semi-pro teams that have these awesome names because everybody's like, oh, it's a Tiger and it's the Lions, and then
That's what I was saying to you. One time we were watching arena football. I was like, let's just get into arena football.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go buy merch and let's just be arena football fans.
Right.
So, well, that's funny because I was just texting my dude Steve the other day, and like, because he's definitely more of a sports guy than I am. So now, like, I'm texting him stuff, and I think he's digging it. He's like, all right, this is cool. And then I'm like, yeah, I think I want to get into hockey. He's like, dude, me too. And he's never really watched hockey. So he's like, I think I kind of want to get into hockey too. And I was like, let's do it. He's like, who do we root for? I was like, I like Nashville, so why not the Nashville Predators? And he goes, we're Predators guys now. I was like, dude, we're hockey dads.
We're hockey dads.
He doesn't have any kids. So it made it a little weird.
Yeah.
But it's like then we're like talking back and forth, talking about like all the other teams and everything, and just try to like pump each other up. And I'm like, you realize hockey season does start to like January. So we did not get into hockey at the
We got
right
some time to prepare.
Then he was like, well, what about tennis? I don't think they ever stopped playing tennis. And I was like, I'm not, I won't get into any sport. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
it takes time.
I don't know if it'd be tennis.
Yeah,
Tennis
we
or
actually,
golf.
when we were in Nashville, we actually drove past the Predators Stadium,
Yeah.
and it's actually really cool. I was like,
Nashville, baby.
yeah, we were there. Well, we were there in
I'm a big
September.
fan.
Yeah, we were there in September. I was like, oh, I wonder when the game is. It was like, oh, it's not for like 8 months.
Yeah.
So
Whenever I was there last time, my buddy that I stayed with, he told me, he's like, yeah, every now and then I go to a Predators game. I was like, dude, if you ever want someone to go with, I'll make the trip down.
Yeah.
Go to a game with you and just hang out for the night. Because, I just feel like hockey would be the game that I'd be like,
Right.
yes.
Well, have you seen Miracle? The hockey movie?
No, I almost watched it like 2 days ago.
Yeah, if you want to get into hockey, you watch that movie and like it'll get you into some hockey. You'll be talking about it for about 2 weeks.
Then another thing that I like to watch is like the arm wrestling like competitions.
The slapping competition.
The slapping ones,
knocking
too.
mofos
Those are
out.
pretty gnarly.
Man.
So,
Pretty gnarly.
the Ocho's a real thing now, right?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I know it started as a joke on Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Then they brought it out, like, didn't they do it 1 year as a prank or
Yeah.
something like that? And then people watched it so
Yeah,
much.
now it's the thing.
So I wonder if can I get it on ESPN Plus? Do you know? Because I have ESPN Plus. Because
I think they have their own thing.
Huge sports fan.
Real big sports fan.
Yeah.
And I think I would like.
I heard Leonardo DiCaprio likes sports sometimes too.
I heard Leonardo DiCaprio stood on the first step of the Ocho building.
I stood there. I don't know if you guys know this, but Cincinnati is winning currently. So 3-0 against the Phillies. So
Yep.
it's.
He's got a program.
I'm
to
checking.
his
Yeah,
brain.
I'm checking it out.
He has an antennas in his beard that connect the satellites that connect
Right.
to the games. So
You probably have to like pay for the Ocho though, don't you?
probably
I believe so.
there's no way they can stay open.
Oh no, we
without
got
that.
on-demand stuff here. So
Oh,
let's
there
see
you
what we got. We got We got different things in the ocean. We got slippery stairs. That sounds like a fun one.
Slippery stairs.
Slippery stairs. Air guitar championships.
Shut up.
That's an hour long.
I have seen air guitar championships.
They get
dude,
intense.
Guys, the 2021 World Chase Tag American Championship.
Now
World
the
Chase
tag. Now I've seen the tag.
I'll watch that.
I've seen the tag tournaments. Those are freaking intense. They
I feel like
basically combine parkour and the game of tag.
Yes.
That looks dope.
They are insane.
It's like
And
the
I'll
Iron
watch-
Man of tag.
I'll
They
watch
are
the Air Guitar
insane.
Championships. We got the 2020 USA Mullet Championships.
Jesus Christ.
So we got the cow chip throwing contest, which one can only assume is manure.
Yeah. They just pick up dried shit.
It looks like it. Yeah, corgi races.
Corgi races.
Get out of my face.
Could you imagine those little fluffy fat asses run?
Oh my gosh, guys, they have the World Championship Rototilla.
The rototiller?
You gotta say it cool though.
Rototiller?
Rototilla.
Rototiller.
Yeah, they got races. You ever just race a tiller?
You never have. Can't say I have.
2021
this is just
Air
like-
Hockey Invitational. They've got it.
I feel like this is just like we're going to have a hay bale throwing next.
Yeah.
Well, we do have the pinball invitational is happening, so that's a big deal.
Now I have watched the lumberjack competitions where they have to climb all the way up the wooden post, but they have to hack it with an axe and then climb up and keep hacking.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I just need to look.
Anything
at
that was
Ocho
invented in a bar or with alcohol involved is on the Ocho now.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
I don't think that there's like the app's not very good. I will say that about ESPN.
I
Plus.
wouldn't think it was.
It's not very good.
Does it have
There is
ads on it?
no, it's not too bad. Which I pay for because it's like it's bundled in with like Disney Plus, Hulu,
Right.
and ESPN Plus. So I have it, but I'm just like in my opinion, with the app, you should just be able to click on like the Ocho.
Yeah.
And then you can watch stuff
And
from
then
the
you
Ocho.
should just be able to watch it.
You know what you can watch pretty much any time of the day on ESPN is Little League Baseball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's intense.
Those kids are fierce. I
T-ball?
watched them. That and like Pop Warner football.
Mm-hmm.
It's like because Snoop Dogg like has a team now.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg has a Pop Warner football team.
What's Pop Warner?
Like 4th grade to 6th grade.
You're not in school and you can't play, so it's not a school league.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
got
like
you,
neighborhood.
okay.
It's like neighborhood league, but an organization.
Like where kids can hit other kids and not get hurt that bad. Like
Yeah.
that's how old they are.
It's like tiny bodies going like 10 miles an hour and hitting each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, Snoop Dogg was like, it was like on it. They made a TV show about it.
I
'Cause he
remember
bought a-
seeing.
yeah,
I
he
remember
bought a
seeing
little
him. I just
team.
thought it was like
How can you buy a little league team?
you can buy anything. It's America.
Yeah, and it's Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
He was on Trailer Park Boys. He can basically do anything. So.
That's true. I'm trying to talk my friend into buying a town.
Really?
Yeah, why not? You know what
I
I
don't know.
mean? He's got a lot of money, and there's like nothing else in this little section that he lives at, and I'm like, let's figure out how we can just make a town.
Yeah.
Like, what do you have to have a store? Let's get one.
I mean, that Bhagwan guy from that documentary on Netflix called what is it? Wild America. That Bhagwan guy from India, tried to take over the town.
Yeah.
In
Wild Country.
No,
Yeah, Wild Country. that's what it's
Wild
called.
Country.
Wild Country. It was like in Oklahoma. It's called Elk or something like that.
Yeah.
He tried to take it over. It didn't work.
No.
I'd have followed
Little
that
did they
guy.
know they had more guns.
Yeah.
They had more guns than that tiny town, Oklahoma. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, own a town. That'd be sweet.
I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
and then
Sheriff-
everybody's like,
Sheriff
oh, it's a
Jake
cult. And they're just like, nah, man, we're just like,
hanging
we
out.
like tie-dye and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm allowed to be there if I'm there, it's a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't tell. It's like, there was a whole thing a while back on Facebook that was kind of funny. There were people that were like, legit, like, are you starting a cult?
I think you talked about this last time.
I think you might have, too.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I guess I am.
I guess I
Yes, I
am.
am.
It's the
Follow
comedy-
me, brothers.
It's the
Yeah.
comedy
It's
cult.
just-
And
baby.
if you would have gone any other direction besides the blessed ones, it wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Wouldn't have been talked about.
Yeah, that's true.
But since
But-
you just said the words blessed ones, it's just like, totally like, there's some kind of religious voodoo going on right
Ruble's
now.
revivals.
Yeah, I've had a couple people call me the giggling guru.
That's pretty good. I like that one.
Good.
I'm like, I accept.
I would too. That's a cool name.
It's not bad. It's not bad. So
It's awesome.
yeah. So
Gotcha.
join the cult. Easy to do. All you got to do is listen to the podcast, laugh and be blessed, and then you're in.
Open-toed shoes, always.
The
That's a
Ruble-
standard.
No, you do whatever you want.
Do
You
whatever
dress
you want.
however you want.
The
Be
Rubleites.
yourself. Yeah, and just come on in.
Come on.
Come on in.
All right.
All right, you heard it on the Comcast first.
That's true. All right, everybody. That is time.
That is time. That is an awesome episode.
Another awesome episode by Jake Ruble. Well, with Jake Ruble.
No, this is by me. I'll take credit.
Okay.
For the good stuff. If you didn't like it, this was not mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything? I mean, you kind of promoted along the way, but do you have anything specific now?
This is coming out Monday, so we're not going to make the Merry Pranksters.
No, that's cool. Yeah, my podcast, Laugh and Be Blessed. That's I always talk about upcoming shows on there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's really it. I mean, if you listen to the podcast, you're gonna pretty much hear where I'm gonna be. I did kind of go through where I'm gonna be. I got like Nebraska's coming up, Arkansas's coming up. So like I'm gonna be places. So
Yeah.
Right.
I think we have like 1 or 2 listeners in both of those states. So.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, listen to my podcast, Laugh and Be Blessed, or you can find me on Facebook, Jake and Chia Ruble's Blessed Ones.
See? He's roped the wife into it now.
Yeah.
The wife is in it now.
Yeah. Or just jakeruble.com, but I
Right.
don't have a calendar on my website, so I probably should. But
I need to get that updated.
It's actually kind of funny because the past like 2 months, Cheyenne's been on every single episode to where we like don't introduce her anymore. She's just here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the way to do it.
Just kind of blends in.
All right, everybody, go check out Jake. He's out there in the world now, touring everywhere, left and right. So go check out his stuff. Go check out his podcast. It's Cheyenne's #1 favorite podcast, which is kind of hurtful to us because we should be.
She's like, it's my go-to, but you guys are the ones after that one. I was like, we're everybody's not first, but they listen.
So
She's
we're like
the best.
worse than a cult leader, basically. So
She's the best.
yeah. So everybody, go check out Jake. He's out there. Hopefully, we'll definitely have him on again. It's always a blast having you on, bud.
Yep.
So go check out him. Go check out us. Everything will be down in the description. If you want to help out the show, if you want to help out Jake, buy merch. Go see him. If you want to help out us, rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening to.
We do not have merch.
Right. You may not think it helps us out, but it really gets us up in the podcast.
Tell your
polls.
church buddies all about the company.
Yeah, tell your church buddies about the Comcast. It's not sexual at all. It's just a good hang.
At all?
It's
sports
related.
It's sports related.
And if you want some sports details, hit me up. I know it all. I know everything about sports. It's in my blood. I'm very, very into it. I'm very into sports. I'm a sports guy, and you can tell I'm a sports guy because I say sports guy.
Yeah. He bleeds Summer League.
Yes. All about that Summer League, baby.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Remember, stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Wash your motherfucking asses. Let's get out of here.
All right, guys. See you all next week. Stay safe. Stay happy. Stay healthy.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed. And remember, when life gets hard and life gets you down, you milk that pig, everybody.
Peace.
We out.